welcome everybody to Little Rock, Arkansas, the site of the inaugural Players All-Star Classic here at War Memorial Stadium. Thanks everybody for joining us this afternoon. Chris Kane alongside my partner Russ Landy. Our partner on the sideline, Jay Burr, will join us in just a little bit. Russ, this has been an exciting week for these players. Over 100 NFL personnel have been here, even some top-level executives, all watching them as they try to make one last impression before the draft and maybe even a combine.
Well, it's a huge week. They get a chance to make that impression that maybe in another situation they wouldn't have had. It's the last All-Star game. They have to shine. That's why it's such a big game.
Now, there are some players here that you may have seen at a big school, but they transferred to a small school, and they ended up being very successful there.
Yeah, and I think you look right at the North squad first. You look at Oren Wilson, 3-year starter at Michigan State, had some stuff that led him to transfer to Akron, and finished his season strong at Akron this year. Very strong and powerful interior defensive lineman. A very intriguing kid, though, who didn't transfer is quarterback Alex Tanney. You watch this kid from Monmouth, Illinois. Very athletic kid, strong arm, can make all the plays. He's just raw like most small school quarterbacks. On the South team, you have two really interesting guys. Taylor Thompson played defensive end at SMU, but this week he played tight end. Big, good-looking kid, looks a lot like Rob Gronkowski. A lot of scouts that were here got very excited about him. And another transfer kid that has scouts intrigued is Aaron Corp. You might remember the name. He was USC's quarterback heading into Matt Barkley's freshman year. He'd won the job, but he got hurt. Barkley took the job, and that was the last we heard of Corp until he transferred to Richmond, finished a solid career, and here he is to try to prove himself.
All right, we'll see what type of impression they can make today as we get ready for our kickoff coming up right after this break.
Deep there. See. Wide over here, man. Wide over here, man. Let's go. Wide, man. Let's go. Wide over here. Come on, wide like this, man. Let's go. Let's go, man. For real, bro. Go ahead, man. Get the towel. Wide over here, man.
And welcome back to War Memorial Stadium, everyone, for the inaugural Players All-Star Classic game featuring the North and South squad. Looking forward to kickoff of today's game. It's just underway in a few minutes, but first let's head down to the third member of our team and join Jay Burr on the sidelines. Jay.
Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna give you a little weather report here real quick. It's really nice, actually. Temperatures above normal for this time of year, so it ought to play into a lot of these guys and to their strengths here. Obviously, a lot of these guys here from the south, they like the warm weather. The breeziness, not really going to be a factor today. It's kind of a light breeze. Obviously, you have to think that would play a little bit of a role in just timing, wide receivers, quarterbacks, things like that. And these guys haven't really played together a whole lot, just a week. So obviously that probably won't play a lot into it as well. Arkansas, though, a state heavily represented here, especially on the south side. 14 guys from Arkansas schools here. Let me run through the list here for you. Nathan Dick from Central Arkansas, Adrian Moore from UAPB, Jermaine Robertson from Arkansas State, A.J. Whitmore, Arkansas Tech, Philip Supernaw from Ouachita Baptist, Grant Freeman, also a Hog, Brandon Joyner from Arkansas State, Dorvis Woods, also Antonio Lee from Henderson State, Greg Gadsden and Jericho Nelson from Arkansas, Kelsey McCray from Arkansas State, Tremaine Thomas from Arkansas, and Seth McGrath from Henderson State. So a heavy representation from Arkansas colleges here, guys, just trying to make it to the next level. Super Bowl, obviously, big deal coming up tomorrow. Maybe we'll see one of these guys at that game next year.
All right, Jay, certainly. Hey, let's go ahead and look at our keys to the game today. Chris Kane alongside my partner, Russ Landy, in the booth. Russ, when you look at the keys to the game for the North squad, but it seems pretty simple, but it can be a daunting task for these guys.
Well, I think when you look at it, the North squad, they're not a great offensive line. They have a lot of intriguing guys, but some of them are small school. The South has a very good D-line, so their offensive line needs to step up, and the quarterbacks for the North have to play more consistently than they have throughout the week if they're going to win this game.
All right, now as we look at the keys to the South squad, starting with the trenches.
Well, I think for the South, their quarterbacks to me are not their strength. Their strength is the running backs. They have to be able to run the ball, control the clock, and that's how they're going to win this game. And their offensive line is a very strong line, so it should be able to open holes, but they have to win that battle with their strong offensive line.
All right, we'll get to more of the game in just a moment. Let's take a listen on the field to the national anthem. I tell you what, Russ, if those players weren't ready to go now, or then, they must be ready to go now. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem out there on the field. Hey, let's talk about the coaches in today's game. You start on the north side, Martin Bayless. You're looking at a guy who's coached in the NFL as an assistant with the Houston Texans.
And he also played a lot in the NFL, played for the Chiefs, played for the Chargers, so he knows what it takes to get there. He's probably been able to lend them a lot of knowledge about this is how you have to practice in order to take the next step.
And then you look on the south side, a last name that you follow the league, you definitely know, Kurt Schottenheimer, brother of Marty, uncle of Brian. He coached with 6 NFL teams, and he also spent 12 years in the collegiate coaching ranks. We're going to head down for kickoff now. Kicking off for the South squad. It's going to be Long Ding. Long Ding kicks it off, and looks like the North is making it out all the way to the 25-yard line. Cody Sensabaugh takes it out to the 25, and that is where the North will begin, and their starting quarterback today for the North. I know it's a guy that you said has kind of struggled a little bit in practice this week, but certainly this is an opportunity to show what he's got today.
Oh, yeah, Dominique Davis out of East Carolina, started his career at Boston College. A very athletic kid. He can get out on the edge. He can make strong throws. He started off poorly this week, but each day he got much better and really has a chance athletically to make it at the next level. This is a big game for him to show what he can do.
All right, Davis lines up under center. He's got 2 in the backfield, 1 wide out split to the left. And they're going to go play action on the first play, and he's going to find his receiver. Looks like a short gain there, right out to about the 28-yard line.
And that catch that Rivers made, that's what he's been doing all week, is adjusting, making tough catches. He's not a blazer, but he can adjust and make the tough grab, and that's what he's going to have to do if he's going to survive in the NFL, because he can't really run that fast.
Marcus Rivers out of Buffalo made that grab for a short gain, brings up 2nd and 8. Davis looks like he's going to hand the ball off now. And that looks to be Joe Martinek from Rutgers. It's gets tangled up in the backfield a little bit, he's going to lose yards on that play.
And a lot of it was Jaquez Smith, the defensive end from Missouri. He got a little penetration upfield to slow the play down, and it kept Martinek from being able to just take the corner. He had to bounce the play outside.
It's going to bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and 11 to be exact. And the North squad is going to go 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. Davis is going to take the snap, steps back, is under pressure, and he is going to be taken down. A big sack on the play. And he's taken down by number 99. And that is Brandon Joyner from Arkansas State, an Arkansas kid right here, making a big play on 3rd down.
Yeah, and he's a kid that all week showed that athletic ability, was explosive getting off the ball and disrupting plays and getting to the quarterback.
That's going to bring up 4th and long now, about 4th and 16 on the field for the punt. For the North squad is going to be Kyle Martins. All right, Martins sails it high. It's going to be returned and appears to be fair caught at about the 42-yard line. We're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be back with more of the Players All-Star Classic right after this. Welcome back to Little Rock, Arkansas, the site of today's Players All-Star Classic game. The South squad has taken over now after the North went 3 and out. Starting for the South, Jordan Jefferson, a quarterback, and he's going to find his receiver early on in this one. He hits number 36, and that is going to be Jermaine Robertson.
And, you know, this has been a good week for Jordan Jefferson, a guy that came here sort of viewed as an inconsistent guy, but throughout the week he showed great accuracy, a very strong arm. If he keeps playing this way, he's got a chance to develop in the NFL.
Inconsistent, certainly, marred his career, but he is known as statistically one of the greatest LSU quarterbacks of all time. As they take over now on the 42-yard line, Jefferson's going to go play action, and he's going to look deep down the sidelines, and it's just through the hands of his wideout.
Yeah, Tony Clemens.
Tony Clemens,
who had
just
a great
out of
week
reach.
of practice, but that one he couldn't get hold of.
Tony Clemens out of Colorado.
He started his career at Michigan, didn't end up getting on the field, transfers to Colorado, has 2 great years to finish his career there, and really shined this whole week. He was explosive, athletic, one of the best receivers here all week.
Jefferson and company looking to get out into the North territory. They're only a few yards away here. They're going to go 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. Jefferson's going to bark out some signals at the line. And this is what you were talking about. They got to run the ball a little bit more. They've gone on a pass play already, and they're going to take a timeout here on 3rd and 6 with 12:35 Tell me, that throw from Jefferson
First
looks
charge
pretty
time
good.
in the half.
Is it just out of reach?
I think it was a little bit high, but it's one of those ones you'd like to see Clemens go up and get. I mean, in the NFL, yes, the quarterbacks are better, but you still have to make some tough catches. And Clemens should have caught it, but at the same time, Jefferson can't throw inconsistently if he's going to succeed in the NFL, because you can't win in the NFL without an accurate starting quarterback.
Speaking of starting, let's go ahead and look at our starting lineups for the day as we look at the South squad starters. You've got Jordan Jefferson starting at quarterback. And then you have, I believe, Darius Reynolds starting at split end. Tony Clemens also at flanker in the slot. And then the left tackle, Jamarcus Hardwick. Left guard, you got Ronald Leary. Center is Larry Reap, Antoine McLean at right guard, Landon Walker at right tackle, and Taylor Thompson, an intriguing prospect out of SMU, a guy who played defensive line most of his career, and now he's out playing tight end. Quick pass by Jefferson is going to be good for a great gain.
And that's the Darius Reynolds kid from Iowa State, who's a very gifted kid, really has the size and athletic ability that you look for NFL receiver. He showed throughout the week that he has all the tools. You just want to see this kid run sharper routes, be a little bit more explosive, getting out of his cuts. But he's got all the tools to be a productive NFL receiver.
You watch Jefferson on that drop back. He looks comfortable out there.
And that's the key for him. Yeah, when he's not under pressure, when he gets into a rhythm and can feel comfortable, that's when he's at his best.
Jefferson's got 3 wideouts. He's going to hand the ball off, and that's going to be a great gain by number 27. That's Daryl Richardson. Daryl Richardson out of Abilene Christian.
And he's a kid that had a very strong week this week. He battled really with one of the teammates there, Adrian Moore, to be the best back in terms of running the ball this week. He's a sharp-cutting kid. He can get through the hole quickly. He has great vision. He's just not a real big, thick-bodied kid. That's where he's going to have to find a way to sort of make it as a third down back, because under 200-pound guys don't survive long as starting running backs in the NFL.
Gain of 9 is going to bring up second and short as they go in the I formation with 2 split out wide. Jefferson's going to hand the ball off again. It's Richardson, and Richardson looks like he's going to have enough for first down.
Yeah, and that's what he has to prove he can do. Run between the tackles, get skinny, get through. He doesn't have to be a physical runner, but he's got to be able to at least gain a few yards on inside runs when they need him to.
Something that Jefferson benefited from this year. LSU was having a good running game, and you can see when the running game is going and he gets comfortable, he can find the open man, and we'll see if they try some play action here on 1st and 10 after a few good runs. Looks like there's going to be 2 wide, 2 in the backfield. Jefferson is going to step back, and he's going to be looking down the field, going on the fade, and he's got his man. Great catch.
Remarkable catch by Clemens. That's what he did all week. Was able to twist his body, adjust, pull it in, and still held on to it when the cornerback pulled him down to the ground. That's the type of throw that is going to get Jefferson in trouble, but the type of catch that Clemens is excited to make, because it definitely impresses.
A little behind him, but you could see his adjustment on the ball was spot on. The way he turned his hips into the pass, that is definitely going to help his stop.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, the reality is there are a lot of good college receivers who can catch the ball when it's thrown to them. The difference is which guys have the flexibility to twist and adjust and make tough catches.
This South squad has been moving very efficiently. We'll see if they can punch it in the end zone here on 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Jefferson is going to go, and looks like he's going to go on the draw, and he is in for the touchdown. 7-yard touchdown by Jordan Jefferson. And all of a sudden, the South are on top.
And that's one of the things that entices you about Jefferson is if he can become consistent throwing the ball, he has that dimension running the ball that NFL teams are dying to find. Because when you can do both, it makes the defense work that much harder.
He's a big quarterback. He's 6'5", and he's got great speed as well. You see, was that a designed play, do you think?
I don't know if it was a design play. I think they were looking for a quick 3-step drop pass. When he saw it wasn't there, he just said, "Where's the hole? I'm going to take off because I don't want to get sacked."
Ding adds the extra point. It's 7-0 South. We'll be back with more of the Players All-Star Classic at War Memorial Stadium in just a minute. Welcome back to Little Rock, Arkansas. The South has just taken a 7-0 lead after Jordan Jefferson punched it in from 7 yards out to give the South a 7-0 lead. They're about to kick off now. Back deep, for the North squad are two guys that are not listed on the depth chart at returning kicks, but it looks like they're going to take it out from about the goal line. And it's a pretty solid gain right there up until probably about the 30-yard line. Now let's go down to Jay Burr, who is joined now by the quarterback who just punched it in, Jordan Jefferson from LSU. Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys. Yeah, like you said, I got Jordan Jefferson here with me. Great drive there last. I guess, what is it you wanted to prove out here coming into an all-star game like this?
I'm a passer. I mean, came out of a pro-style offense in high school. Exploited my talents in the passing game throughout college. And I just want to gain a respect as a passer. That's the reason why I came out here, practiced the way I did, and have the type of drive that I did just now.
Now, a lot of people seem to know you as more of a runner. Do you think maybe that's kind of been a knock on you a little bit, or do you just want to come out here and try to prove that, yeah, I can throw the ball too?
It's definitely a positive being an athlete as a quarterback. When things break down in certain situations, it's always best to get what you can with your feet, but I also can pass the ball as well, and that's what, the main thing I'm trying to prove right now. And, that's the thing I'm trying to press to everybody outside, to just let them know that I can pass the ball.
All right, so there you have it. Jordan Jefferson is trying to make his mark as a passer. We know he can do it on his feet. Guys, let's back that to you.
All right, as we rejoin the action, Marcus Rivers just made a huge reception. Good pass by Dominic Davis, looking over the middle and over the coverage. We take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, and this is what a quarterback has to do. He has to be able to fit it over the linebackers in front of the safeties. If you can't do that, you're not going to play in the NFL. It's an excellent job by him, and Rivers did a good job of preparing himself for the hit so he didn't fumble when he got hit right after the catch.
Rivers able to find that soft spot in the zone, but it looks like a penalty is actually going to back them up, so the play will be nullified, and it will not count. And it looks like it's backing them up pretty well there. Most likely a holding call. We'll rejoin the action on the field as Dominic Davis looks to march his team down the field. They're going to have to go 85 yards to tie this game on 2nd and 23 now for the North squad. Davis has 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. He's going to throw. It's a quick pass out to number 12. That's Philip Payne from UNLV.
And Payne's a guy that early in the week didn't jump out, but the last 2 days of practice, he ran very good routes, and he caught the ball tremendously well. A lot of scouts were saying, he's sort of that sleeper guy that you look at late in the draft because he's so fundamentally sound and has such good hands.
Talk about Davis throwing the ball here. He struggled a little bit during the week, but you're saying this could be the game that he finally comes out of his shell.
Well, it definitely could, because the first day he looked terrible. The second day he was better. The third day he actually played probably as well as any quarterback here. So this is just sort of an extension. He's gotten better every day, which is a great sign for a kid in an all-star game.
See if that progression lasts. He's 3rd and 16 now, and he's going to be under duress, but he escapes the pocket. He throws. It's going to be, nearly picked off. The linebacker, number 55, Jake Tranton from William & Mary, had it right in the breadbasket, and he dropped it.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, he's the nephew of both Kurt Schottenheimer and Marty Schottenheimer, so they're going to be looking at him when he comes to the sideline saying, what are you doing? Come on, your family, you got to help us out.
The next family dinner, he might get a little flack for that one. That's going to bring up another punting situation for the North squad. And out to punt is Kyle Martins from Rice, and this is a guy who you said has been quite the player for Rice, holds a lot of records there.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. A 4-year starting punter, 3-year All-American, 43-yard career average, highest in the history of the school. He's been remarkable for them.
Impressive resume. Do you think he's got a shot maybe as an undrafted free agent to make a squad?
Most likely undrafted, possibly a late-round pick, but he'll get a chance because when you're that productive and you have that strong a leg, you'll get an opportunity.
All right, the South squad is going to take over now in great field position. They're on the 49-yard line of the North as Jefferson marches his squad back out onto the field. He's got 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. And Jefferson is going to go play action again, looking deep, tries to roll out of the pocket. He's in trouble, and he's going to be taken down for the sack. Taken down by Scott Smith.
And, Scott Smith's a guy that up and down week this week. He's a real tall, linear kid. He can run. He's very competitive. He's not a great athlete, and that's the big concerns NFL teams have about him. But there you saw he did a great job of, he got his hands on his blocker, he rode him outside, stayed in position, and was able to free up at the end to get the sack.
He cut back real well on that one. Scott Smith out of Texas Tech, bringing it now to 2nd and 13. Loss of 3 on the play as Jefferson has 2 in the backfield on the I formation. Safety coming up, looking like he's going to blitz. It's a quick throw outside. It's going to be caught for a short
Bostwick,
gain.
yeah.
Bostwick, yes.
Yeah, very nice
talking
catch.
about.
He's a big, thick kid, very good hands. The problem is he's not explosive, so he has to show today that he can not only get open and catch the ball, but he's got to run a little bit after the catch, because if you're a big receiver who lacks explosiveness, you have to run after the catch if you're going to make it in the NFL.
They get back to the line of scrimmage now. 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 for Jefferson. Still waiting on him to look for that tight end you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'd love to see him try Thompson down the field, but they've been rotating their tight ends in and out, so Thompson's only in about half the snap so far.
Jefferson's going to go play action. Under pressure, he rolls out, finds a little time, and he's going to run with it. Jefferson gets hit, but he still is able to find a short gain. And by short, only about 3 yards. It's going to bring up a 4th down situation. 4th and short. We'll see if they try to go for it here. Looks like they're going to bring out the punt unit. And that is Ryan Tilachka. Out to punt as you see Jefferson taken down. That's that speed we were talking about, just a few yards short of the first down. Now, when Jay was talking to him, he was saying how a lot of people have considered him a runner throughout his career.
No question.
And certainly he's done a good job of that. But you said during practice this week he's shown enough zip on the ball that he can make all the throws.
Yeah, he had a great week of practice. He really showed a very strong arm, and even more importantly, his accuracy this week was excellent. It was shocking how well he was able to place the ball. He really did a great job and helped his draft stock, definitely.
And a very good punt by Tilachka there. It's going to pin him inside the 15-yard line. We're going to take a quick break as the North takes over when we come back. Welcome back to Little Rock, ladies and gentlemen. We want to remind you that today's game is brought to you by DraftNasty.com. It's your #1 authority for year-round draft coverage. They are the fun.
And not only the fun, it's a great site because when you look at Corey Chavis, he played in the NFL, he knows the NFL, and he really loves grinding film and evaluating football players. One of the few guys who actually watches film that talks about the draft.
Certainly. Hey, when you look at drafting and really watching a lot of film, I know you've watched a lot of film on Alex Tanney, out of Monmouth, and for good reason. He leads all NCAA divisions in passing touchdowns for a career with 157 now on the field for the North team.
Yeah, and Tanney's a very intriguing guy because when you look at him, he's a tall kid. He's not a little short quarterback. He's 6'3", he's 215. He's a very good athlete. The issue that you got to have with him is he's never played under center. So this week they had a lot of issues with the center exchange. But in terms of arm strength, ability to throw accurately, and athleticism to get out of the pocket and make plays, that's what this kid has.
Well, he was under center on that one, was able to control the snap. It was a reverse to Marcus Rivers, who didn't go anywhere. And it's going to be 3rd and 11 now for the North squad. They've struggled in these 3rd and long situations throughout the day. They've really had a trouble of getting to the 3rd and short situations, and they're not running the ball a lot.
They're not running the ball, and I think part of the problem is it looks like their offensive line is not being able to block all the guys. They're doing a good job on 2 or 3, but on every deep drop, one of the defenders is able to get pressure. Last time it was Rennie Moore, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. This is a key situation. You have to be able to stop the pass rush if you're going to have any chance of being able to complete a pass down the field.
And there's Tanny on a long ball. He was in his comfort mode, being in the shotgun, but you could tell there was miscommunication on the route.
Exactly. I think the receiver saw the coverage over the top and said, I'm going to cut this off, and clearly it didn't work out too well.
All right, let's head on to Jay Burr on the sidelines, who has a guest for us. Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys. Yeah, with Lance Botkin here. He's the, I guess, founder, creator of Athuni. We're going to talk to him a little bit here. I guess, really, what is Athuni?
Well, Athuni's the social media website for all athletes. Football, softball, basketball, baseball. It's a site they can go to. They can look on, communicate with fans. They can communicate with coaches. They can communicate with anybody involved in sporting events. Just a way for them to be able to, it has a television on there. We have Athuni TV. They can promote themselves. They can be recruited on there by coaches. They could be picked up by professional teams, things like that. It's a great social media site.
Well, I guess in this day and age of you can't be too connected, and that kind of is what Athuni does.
Yeah, Athuni connects all those people, businesses, fans, to the athletes, to their videos, to everything. You can promote yourself on Athuni. You can, if you got a great coaching tool, you can use that on Athuni to show the world how great to hit a baseball, if you will. So,
I guess what are you hoping comes of the website?
Well, I hope that everybody gets connected together because there's so much stuff out there, with everything that's going on with the big revolution. We hope that we can just tailor it down to athletes, just specific athletes. So football players can talk to football players who are interested in football, and softball can talk to softball players who are interested in softball. High school kids all the way to professionals.
All right, so there you have it. Lance Botkin joining us with Athuni. It's kind of like Facebook, Google, YouTube, kind of all mixed into one. Guys, let's head back up to you.
The sports social media destination. Thank you, Jay. All right, big gain by Brandon Bolden out of Ole Miss. Sets up 2nd and short for the South squad. And they're right back in the North squad territory. And Jefferson's going to take that one outside and just get pushed out of bounds for the first down. Bolden's an intriguing guy. When you look at a guy who rushed for 1,000 yards in the SEC, a little marred by injuries towards his senior year, but certainly a good prospect in this game.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, I think when you look at Bolden, I mean, you're talking about a kid that's just under 6 feet, 220 pounds. He's an athletic kid with good quickness, and he can run very well for a bigger back. So I think he has a lot of the tools that NFL teams look for. And this week he had a very good week of practice. He didn't hurt himself. So I think he's got a chance to be a late-round pick.
Injuries will be something that will be a red flag on his resume, but if he is able to stay healthy, he could be an intriguing prospect leading up to the draft, as Jefferson is going to hand the ball off to Bolden again and showing that outside corner speed, and he leaps over a defender and hits the sideline, showing some athleticism.
Yeah, he did a great job there. I think uncommon for a college player to be able to hurdle a defender. I think he showed you that agility and explosiveness to jump up and get over a guy on defense so he didn't get tackled.
The South looks pretty unstoppable right now.
Yeah, so far they're moving the ball. They're controlling the field position. I mean, their drives are starting at about the 50-yard line. They're playing short field football, which is something that everybody strives to do. It's just very difficult to be able to do it regularly.
The North defense has been pushed back several times. We'll see if they can hold here as Jefferson's going to take the snap, and he's looking deep. He's going to be stopped, and he is going to be pushed together right around the line of scrimmage, sandwiched in between a couple of defenders. Jamie Blatnick, one of those in there on the stop. Looks like no gain.
Yeah, and it was one of those plays where you saw Jefferson. He was sort of sitting there in the pocket, and he took one quick look, and he wasn't really comfortable waiting for the play to develop. So he just said, you know what, I'm going to get out of here. If he had sat there or maybe tried to roll out, maybe he could have found another play. And that's one of the things NFL teams want to see is, can he develop into a guy who's comfortable waiting in the pocket? It's not just about talent. It's about feeling comfortable within the pocket and not rushing the scramble.
It's going to bring up 3rd and 5 now from about the 27-yard line, 28-yard line, 2 in the backfield. And Jefferson is going to look to throw, has time. Now he's going to be under pressure, and it looks like it could be a fumble. It's a fumble, and the North squad is saying that they have it. And I believe that's Ortiz out of Harvard.
Yeah, and it's nice to see because you don't get many Ivy Leaguers that really have a chance to play in the NFL. So it's good to see a kid that tries so hard and is very competitive and just a good overall kid make a play in this game.
They're going to say, though, the South did recover, or it was an incomplete pass. And now Long Ding is going to be in to try the field goal, which looks to be just about good. That's going to put them up 10-0. It was a 45-yard field goal as the South takes a 10-0 lead, and they're back on the board. It's going to be up to the North now to try to get past the 50.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't start getting the ball, at least start putting the South on their side of the field, they're not going to have any chance. So they really have to do a better job. And I got to tell you, for a college kicker, 45-yard field goal with a snapper and a holder he's not used to, that's pretty impressive. Not many guys are going to come in and do that. And this is a kid that was a place kicker, the kickoff guy, and a punter in college. Did a very good job at Norwich. So
Norwich University.
Norwich University. Very intriguing small school kicking prospect.
We saw him in the pregame kicking from about that distance, and he actually looked like, with the wind earlier, it was struggling to kick it into the other end zone, in the north end zone. In this one, he seemed to have no problems.
No, he has shown a good leg all week. I think he's been a little bit inconsistent in terms of his accuracy. But at these All-Star games, a lot of kickers struggle with their accuracy because when it's a new snapper and a new holder, that comfort level is gone. The ball may not be placed exactly how they're used to it, and that leads to them missing kicks they shouldn't and wouldn't normally miss.
The South will kick off now to the North, who is going to try to get on the board and try to get some type of offense. It'll be interesting to see if they stick with Tanny. I believe that's him on the sidelines waiting to go in. And it's going to be Ding kicking off. As it's 10-0, Ding's kick is deep down towards the goal line. It's going to be recovered by Adrian Moore. Moore is breaking a few tackles and finds another good gain. Another thing I've noticed is they're getting good kickoff returns out to about the 30-yard line, but penalties and sacks have kept bringing them back and making it very difficult to pick up a first down.
And that's exactly it. It's not like they're getting started at the 4-yard line on every drive. They're getting started, but then they're making mistakes over and over, and you can't afford to do that. You have to at least be fundamentally sound, avoid the mistakes, because even if they don't gain any yards, now they punt it, now it's down at the other team's 20-yard line. You can't go backwards.
Tanny back in at quarterback. He's going to be under center, something he's not used to and struggled with early on in the week. Takes the snap fine, has time to throw, and he's going to throw into coverage, but he does make the completion.
And it looks like he throws it there to Garrett Seelick, who many of you may remember the name because his brother Brent plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a similar-sized kid as his brother at 6'4", 250 pounds. He's just not that quick kid like his brother. What he is he's more of a sort of slow-footed tight end, but he runs good routes. He has outstanding hands. Even though we didn't play a ton in terms of catching a lot of passes at Michigan State, he's an intriguing free agent prospect.
Certainly has the bloodlines with his brother being a great tight end in the NFL right now. That's going to be a handoff, and it's going to be a solid gain, almost to a first down, something that they haven't been able to really accomplish early on in this game.
Yeah, and when you look at Michael Smith there, you saw he showed good patience, and he had a little burst up into the hole, and that's what he showed at Utah State. He's got a little bit of quickness. He ran through an arm tackle there, which is outstanding. You have to do that to succeed in the NFL.
Auburn fans might have heard of Utah State. They had a scare from them earlier this season. Michael Smith is a guy who is certainly put up some good numbers. I believe 9 touchdowns this past year. Nothing spectacular, but his yards per carry was pretty solid.
His yards per carry was high, and when you consider he was the backup guy, that he was still this productive when he got on the field. And a lot of the scouts this week talked about they expect him to run very well when he actually does run his 40. So if he does that, he could really climb up draft boards.
And we have a first down, but it's going to bring up second down after only a short gain by the North squad. Tanny's still in at quarterback, and it's going to be the end of the first quarter as time winds down. The South has a 10-0 lead over the North squad, but the North moving the ball. We'll see if they can pick it up.
This is a key now. If they don't, that's where they're going to be in trouble. This is a key drive. They've done a good job so far, so they have to be able to drive it down the field, at least put themselves in a position to get a field goal.
Or put the South in a bad position if they do give up the ball.
Yep.
We'll see if they're able to do that when we return. 10-0, the South over the North here at War Memorial Stadium.
us come back home.
The Arkansas Neuroscience Institute at St. Vincent.
Welcome back to Little Rock, Arkansas. And you're getting a good look at the UAPB band. They are a fantastic band. We're going to get to them at halftime. Let's get back to the action, though, as Alex Tanney takes a snap for the North squad, and he is going deep, and he has a man. It is caught deep in South territory.
And Philip Payne, it looks like, makes a great catch on a high ball, goes up, and really just shows that he has the ball skills to be an excellent receiver in terms of catching the ball on off-target passes. And this after a strong week of practice for him. He did a great job here. The ball is clearly a little bit high, and he really does an outstanding job slowing up, going up and catching it between defenders. That's a tough thing to find in a receiver.
And you got to like how Tanney stepped up in the pocket and didn't wait back there to get hit.
Yep. And unlike Jefferson, he didn't step up and say, you know what, I'm going to run. He stepped up and he said, let me see if I can find somebody downfield.
It's a 40-plus yard gain, and all of a sudden they're in the red zone knocking on the door. Tanney's under center. He's going to hand the ball off. Hands it off to Michael Smith, and Smith is going to be gobbled up for a short gain.
Yeah, there was really no hole there. He tried to hit it, and the defense just closed it up on him real fast.
And that's something we talked about early on. The North offensive line going against those big defensive linemen from the South, a challenge for them, and it's been a challenge in their own territory. We'll see if they can finally get over the hump here inside the 15-yard line.
Well, it's been tough for them. I mean, they have a lot of smaller school guys. They have some guys from Canada. I mean, it's a very Portland State, Montana. So you're not talking about guys that are used to playing the best of the best in the SEC. So they just have to adjust and get used to playing. Right now, you see the left tackle. He's from Calgary University. He's never played against this caliber athlete before. So this is a big test for him.
All right, Tanney's going to take the snap, and he's rolling out under duress, and he is going to be, he's still up, but he is eventually taken down. That was number 99. We've already said his name once today, Brandon Joyner from ASU, his second sack of the game. And Tanney, you thought maybe would escape here, but Joyner does a great job of getting a hand on that jersey.
Yeah, I think what you see here with Joyner is you see that for a defensive end, he has that rare explosive burst to catch up to a guy that's got a little separation on him, gets his hand on him, and can make the sack. Not many guys can close like that, and that's what makes him so enticing, especially the teams that run a 3-4 defense. You can stand him up and let him pass rush off the edge. He has a lot of the tools to be successful in that area.
And it's not like Tanney's a small guy. He's 6'4", 220. All the quarterbacks here seem to have that prototypical size.
Yeah, it's not like the Senior Bowl this year where we had two quarterbacks under 6 feet. It's definitely good when you have 2 or 3 good-sized quarterbacks. And this whole week, they're all good size.
And Martin Bayless for the North squad, he wants a timeout to talk it over with his squad. We're going to go ahead and take a break. North are knocking on the door. We'll see if they're able to punch it in when we come back. Welcome back to Little Rock. Before we get back to the action, let's head down to Jay Burr on the sideline, who has something really intriguing about Joyner from Arkansas State. Hey, Jay.
Yeah, actually, Brandon Joyner, an all-time sacks leader at Arkansas State. He was also tied for the all-time sacks lead in the Sun Belt Conference as well. So he should be a big-time prospect. He's had a great week here at practice. He's obviously got all the physical tools. One thing, though, that could be hampering him just a little bit, he's actually awaiting prison sentencing in Texas. Stems back from his days at Texas A&M when he was I got caught for sort of an armed robbery, kind of a wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing. So hopefully somebody will take a chance on him, but you just have to wait and see. It's probably going to be about May when that sentence will come down. Guys?
All right, thanks, Jay. That'll certainly be a question on a lot of NFL draft scouts' minds whenever they meet with him. Hey, that pass was almost complete to David Taggart in the back of the end zone. And it just looks like David Taggart's on for the extra point for the North. And by extra point, I mean field goal, and it is good. It is 10-3. The North squad able to get on the board, and they're only one score away from tying this thing up. 12:52 remaining in the second quarter. Back from War Memorial Stadium after this.
Wilkerson's in the white.
Welcome back to Little Rock. Kind of an overcast day here at War Memorial Stadium. Some storms earlier this morning have cleared out. Still a few clouds in the area, and certainly some wind that these kickers have had to deal with. Hasn't affected their field goal kicking. Both teams are perfect in the field goal category. 10-3, the South over the North right now in the Players All-Star Classic, the inaugural game here at War Memorial Stadium. Chris Kane alongside my partner Russ Landy to bring you all the action from the booth. Jay Burr, our third member of our team, on the sideline. Kicking off there for the North team was David Taggart out of UConn, and returning it looks like it is going to be Terrence Wilkerson. And Wilkerson gets tripped up. Looks like he almost could have broken that one, and he's going to be taken down just before the 30. And there is a flag on the play, though, as Nathan Dick prepares to take his first snaps of the day for the South squad. We'll get down to the field and see what the call is.
Holding on the return team.
It's going to be a hold against the South team. It's going to back them up 10 more yards. They're going to be starting inside their own 20 now. Not an easy task for Nathan Dick, a 2-year starter at UCA, and a guy who was able to break a few school records, including single passing yards in a season, over 3,200, and passing touchdowns. And a guy who's 6'4", Russ, that you said in practice, he's a big guy, and he hasn't looked as quick as maybe some of the other quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's really been the issue. He's a big kid. He's got a swing on the farm, but he just seems like he's in slow motion at times when he drops back to pass. He doesn't really get rid of the ball and set up to get rid of it as quickly as you'd like to see him do.
That handoff went to Jeremy Stewart out of Stanford. Solid gain on the play, gain of about 6, going to bring up second and short.
And Stewart's a kid that a lot of people here really like. He's never going to be your starting tailback, but he's a very athletic fullback with good hands, natural running skills, and if he can develop as a lead blocker, he's got a chance to be a starter in the NFL, but he's got to improve his lead block.
You think of fullbacks as being almost an extinct species in the
Almost.
NFL, and then you look at a team like the New York Giants who's in the Super Bowl, and they use theirs quite effectively. As Dick hands off, it's Stewart again. He finds a hole, and he's going to break it outside. and he cuts back inside for a solid gain, a big gain at that, gain of about 11. And that's good enough for a big first down.
Yeah, they did a great job. They really opened up the hole for him. He didn't even get touched till he was almost 8-10 yards down the field. This is an outstanding job by the offensive line, creating space for Stewart. It's a great situation to put him back in. He's never going to be a blazer, make you miss guys. So if you give him a little space, he can get going, and then he can be hard to bring down.
As a guy who projects as a fullback, showing some good speed there, cutting through the hole. You're right, he was untouched until he was finally brought down at around the 34-yard line as Dick takes the snap under center. Looks like he almost bobbled it, but he gets the ball out to the outside, connects with his wideout, and the wideout is going to make a big gain. It's number 87, Darius Reynolds out of Iowa State. Got caught up in some traffic on a short pass and then was able to turn it into a first down.
Yeah, I think what you see from Reynolds there is what everybody's excited about with him is he's an agile, quick kid with an explosive burst. He can make guys miss. I mean, there's a lot of talent this kid has. Right there you see he makes the tackler miss, and he's even able to cut back, spin off some contact. That's what makes him such an intriguing prospect for the NFL, because the fact that he's over 6 feet, he's almost 6'2", 200 pounds, that's a really big receiver to have that kind of agility.
Ideal size. Dick's going to hand the ball off, and it's going to be Stewart again, who's going to be bobbled up right around the line of scrimmage. No gain there. And on that last play, Nathan Dick actually did a play fake at the line of scrimmage. Didn't bobble the ball, which you were telling me in practice this week. We talked to some of the players. It's been a bit of a problem for some players who came out of the super spread, as they called it up in Monmouth.
It's the combination of the super spread and the fact that they're trying different guys at center. Both teams had over about 15 or 17 fumbled exchanges between the quarterback and center this week. It was really a long learning lesson for both squads.
Has not been a problem today. The sun is starting to peer through onto the field as Dick's going to take the snap. It's a short throw, but it is connected, and that's his receiver. Again, it is number 87, Darius Reynolds, and he turns another short pass, just a short slant, into a big gain.
And this time he doesn't do it with the elusiveness. He used that size I was talking about, that he's over 200 pounds, 6'2" almost. He's able to just run through the tackle, and that's a huge trait nowadays in the NFL. You want guys, look at that, two guys trying to tackle him. He runs through it, gets 5 extra yards after contact. That's an excellent play by a big, thick-bodied receiver.
You mentioned he's about 6'2". He's showing a lot of strength out there. On the play before, he was able to carry 2 guys for a couple extra yards. It's those fighting plays like that that's really going to stand out to draft
Oh,
experts.
There's no question. I mean, you want to see a guy compete. Too many receivers go down as soon as they're hit.
Nathan Dick throws it over the top, and this is the player we were watching for all day. This is Taylor Thompson out of SMU, and this is a guy who a lot of people compare him to Gronkowski you were hearing on the sidelines.
Well, yeah, when you watched him in practice, you kept hearing scouts whisper saying, wow, he looks like Gronkowski. He's tall, he's thickly built. Now, obviously, he's not as polished, but when you look at a kid that hasn't played tight end since high school and you see him make a great catch like that, it really tells you that athletically all the tools are there for this kid to be special in the NFL. I have a feeling he'll be one of the fastest rising players from this point forward and could even end up as a 3rd-round pick.
You see a lot of guys, he's switching from defensive line to tight end. We've seen players like Jimmy Graham go from basketball to football after a year. Antonio Gates, another one as well, and they've been very successful in the NFL. I'm sure Taylor Thompson hopes to join that category of players soon enough. Nathan Dick, very efficient on this drive as well. We'll see if they can punch it into the end zone. Right now, the lead is 10-3, and we're going to get a quick timeout on the field as they are on the 7-yard line.
And this is key for the South because the North got back in it. They got a field goal. And it looked like the South was struggling offensively. And if they didn't score here, the North would have had a chance. So they need to at least get some points on the board to stop that momentum the North had just started to get going. Otherwise, it's going to be something where the North can come back in this game. But
some big pass plays on this drive. A couple big runs, and they switch it to the pass once they get past the 50. Kind of keeping the defense off balance.
Keep the defense off balance. And I think you saw in that one run where Stewart went and he tried to bounce it. The whole D-line was committed to the run. So I think they said, you know what, we're going to throw the ball a few times. And Dick has shown nice touch. That pass down the seam to Thompson, it may have seemed like a great catch and an off-target throw, but that was the only place he basically could have put it where it would have been over the defender so Thompson can catch it.
Nathan Dick, a big strong-arm quarterback out of UCA, is going to take the snap. Looks like they're going to go with the reverse. He's got an open field. That's Clemens, and he is going to be taken down.
Yep, and as he was going out, he fumbled out of bounds. So luckily, the ball didn't stay in bounds, and the opponent didn't get a hand on it.
Tony Clemens got away with that one. And it's going to make his coach, Kurt Schottenheimer, happy, but a little upset at the same time. Got to hang on to that football to get a shot at the next level.
There's no question. Right, what scares you here is he's coming around on the reverse. You would think for a receiver, any ball carrier would know, as soon as you're on the other side, you've got to put the ball on the other
Switch
side
hands.
so that you can't be hit. Now, luckily, he fumbled and it went right out of bounds, so it's not a big issue, but that's something the receiver needs to know.
Not everyone is that lucky.
No, exactly.
Nathan Dick's going to line up with 2 wideouts to his right, 2 tight ends. He bobbles the snap, and he fumbles. It's picked up, though, by number 34. That's Jeremy Stewart. Saves the day. 2 fumbles in a row, and that was our first center-quarterback exchange gone wrong of the day.
And you know what? All week the scouts kept talking about, if there's bad weather on Saturday, there could be a lot of fumble exchanges. Luckily, the weather's good, but still we already have one in the second quarter here. Not a good thing to do because even though it's obviously a result of the fact that the quarterback and center have not been teammates, it's something you just don't want to see. It's not a good sign.
Right as the sun comes out. There's no rain to blame for that one. Well, that's going to bring up 3rd down and 8 now. 3rd and goal. As the South is looking to take another jump ahead of the North. 10-3 the score. Dick's going to step back. He throws to the flat, and he's got a man. It's number 36, and that's going to be Jermaine Robertson out of Arkansas State, taken down, though, just before the goal line.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a nice play by Dick. He looked at his receivers real quick. Nobody was there, so he said, I'm going to check it down to my running back, get the ball out there, at least get positive yards. Unfortunately, it was a tough pass to expect him to do much. There were a lot of defenders over there, but he got as much as he could, and now they're in a position to go for a field goal, and they come on and they bring on the man again. He's already hit 1 today, and here hopefully he'll knock another one through the pipes.
All-star game, not too many coaches go for it on 4th and goal.
No, not common, because they want to give the kickers a chance to show what they can do to the scouts also.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. The score now 13-3. The South has taken another lead. We'll be back from War Memorial Stadium for more action right after this. We are back at War Memorial Stadium for today's Players All-Star Classic. The South has taken a 13-3 lead with 7:08 left in the first half. And it's been almost all South. The North was able to get some points on the board, at least, on their last drive. But you gotta wonder when they're going to punch it in because they're getting closer and closer. Chris Kane alongside Russ Landy on the kickoff here. And the North has started in great field position, and that's not going to change right here as they bring it up to about the 30-yard line. That was Michael Smith, number 20 out of Utah State, taking the ball up. And they will be starting in good field position again. Before we head down to the action, let's go to Jay Burr on the sideline with a guest from the North. Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys. How are you doing? We actually don't have him down here. We're trying to track him down. Case in Rock Hill. We're going to talk a little bit about the differences between U.S. universities and Canada universities. You know, he's from Calgary University. He's only one of 2 Canadians on this trip. Both of them obviously being from the North since, you know, they're from the North. So we're going to try to catch up with him here in just a minute. But right now we'll send it back up to you guys. I'll let you know when we got it.
All right, thank you, Jay. He is probably on the field right now playing for the North squad on offense. He was taken down by number 58. The running back was just now. And number 58 from Missouri puts him about the 31-yard line. Not going to go down as a sack. It's a no gain. As number 15, Matt Blanchard from Wisconsin Whitewater, fumbles a snap, and it is going to be in a pile. Russ, I don't know who's going to come out with that one. Piles usually aren't pretty.
No, it's not pretty, and this is a problem that Blanchard had all week. There was actually a point during the week where he fumbled 3 snaps on consecutive plays in a row, and you could see he just needed to take a break. He's not used to playing under center this much, and he's not used to playing with this center, so I think you add those two things together, it's sort of a recipe for disaster.
Ball was recovered by the North squad, and actually a gain of 2 on the play, believe it or not.
Not the way I think they want to gain 2 yards, but at least I'm sure they're happy they got the ball back.
It will bring up 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 8 now from their own 31.5-yard line. Blanchard is able to control the snap. He throws to the outside. It is caught, almost a first down. I believe they're going to be just short. Philip Payne on the reception. And it looks to be just about a half a yard short of a first down near the 40-yard line.
And Payne did his best. He reached out. He tried to stretch his arm, but unfortunately it was just a short, quick pass. And there was not a lot he could do in terms of getting more yards after the catch.
Blanchard's a guy who had a pretty illustrious college career, 25-0 as a starter at Wisconsin Whitewater, helped lead them to a couple Division III championships, 5,000 passing yards, 44 touchdowns, and only, what, five interceptions?
It's amazing, yep.
Pretty incredible.
And it's a good thing. He goes up there, and Lance, his coach, Leopold, is an outstanding coach and really good in terms of cutting down mistakes for players, really coaches a fundamentally sound football team, and that's what you see from Blanchard. Fundamentally sound, smart football player.
Blanchard wants to take a timeout with 5 minutes left to go in the first half. It's 13-3, and it's 4th and 1. 4th and 1 for the North squad. We want to remind fans today and those watching that DraftNasty.com is sponsoring today's game. It is your #1 authority for year-round draft coverage. We are the fun. DraftNasty.com. Check them out. And you were telling me that someone who has been very involved in the NFL is the lead on that website.
Oh, yeah, Corey Chavis. He played in the league for a while. He was a Vanderbilt kid coming out of college. Very smart guy, really diligent. And he's really done a great job of building up Draft Nasty. It started out as a small draft coverage site. Now it's probably one of the top 5 or 6 in the country. And a lot of people really like it because as a former player, he offers a different perspective than guys like Kuiper or Mayock, who really, they're sort of in the media, where I think Corey still views himself as a former player, offers a different perspective on the draft process.
All right, it's 4th and 1 now. The North squad going for it. You don't see that too often in all-star games, and it looks like that was Michael Smith getting bumped at the line. Smith able to bounce off his own offensive lineman, break outside for a first down gain, and all of a sudden they're in the South Territory. A great break for the North squad and a tough one for the South.
Great, and I'll tell you what, it's great. You see with Smith, he runs right there, he gets bounced into his own lineman. He doesn't panic. He looks, he finds a space, he gets outside and makes a play. A lot of other backs, they hit it and they just go down right in the backfield. It's impressive. He's had a good game so far, Smith. He's shown good running skills, good athletic ability. You have to like what you see from him.
Some good instincts there not to stop and look, just to
exactly.
keep running.
Yep.
Well, the North has a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10 now for Blanchard, and he's going to go play action, runs into a little bit of trouble, still finds a way to throw the ball, and it's just behind his receiver, Philip Payne, on the pressure.
And it was a shame because they were able to pull the defensive end in. When you look at Kendrick Adams at LSU, he got sucked down the line of scrimmage. So when he rolled out, he had total space to himself. He had all he had to do. He just missed the throw. And it was a shame because it was an easy 10-yard pass, first down right there if he makes an accurate throw.
Kendrick Adams, a guy who's playing defensive line here, but projects as well as a linebacker in the next level.
He's sort of a tweener guy that NFL teams are trying to figure out where he fits. I think he's probably going to go to a team that plays a 3-4, and he's going to have to prove he can play in the NFL.
All right, Blanchard's going to take the snap again. This time he's going to hand the ball off to Smith, and Smith is gobbled up right at the line of scrimmage. He's taken down by Jacquez Smith, and it's going to be a loss. Let's head down to Jay Burr now with our friend from the Great White North, all the way from Calgary University. Hey, Jay.
Hey guys, we got big 6'5" here from Calgary University, like you said, and I guess really there's a little bit of a difference between the United States and Canada. Kind of what are those differences?
Well, first we got an extra player, and then of course, and we're also a yard off the ball. So I mean, those are the two major differences. As well, the field's wider and longer, so I mean, as an O-lineman, you got a lot more to look for, you know, in terms of blitzes and all that.
So it's pretty similar to the Canadian Football League. Would that be the similar differences?
Exactly the same, yeah.
Okay. Now you actually have a CFL Combine invite. Is that right?
Yeah, March 2nd.
And I guess you're here. You're in the States. Or are you hoping to maybe get you an NFL Combine invite?
Yeah, for sure. I would love that.
And I guess you were talking to me earlier here. You want to take this thing to the next level. I guess, what is it that you bring to the table for somebody here in the States?
Put it on the spot, but
you got to sell yourself.
I know. You know, I like to think of myself as, you know, more athletic than the average O-lineman. You know, I'm constantly working on my technique. I feel like I still have a lot more to offer, like a lot more room to improve. So, I mean, in terms of that aspect, you know.
And obviously playing on a wider field kind of helped you guys out, especially from an offensive line standpoint.
For sure.
All right, so there you have it. Our man from the Great White North, Carson, Calgary University. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you. That was Carson Rockhill from Calgary U as the North squad finds himself in a 2nd and 7 situation with about 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Blanchard's had trouble fumbling a few times. He's going to find a little space, spin move, and he makes his way out for a first down.
And that's a great job by Blanchard. It didn't look like the play was going to happen the way he wanted, so he said, you know what, I better just get out, start running with the ball, and avoid taking a sack. Because clearly right on the right-hand side there, it was clear that the two receivers sort of collided running their route, and if he had tried to stay in there, he probably would have been sacked. So he did the right thing, get out of there, and run for a first down.
All right, we're going to do something these college kids aren't used to. We're heading to a break for the 2-minute warning. They're going to need to get used to it as they hope to make it to the next level. There's 2 minutes left to go in the first half, 13-3 the South squad, and we'll be back with more at War Memorial next. Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium. Chris Kane alongside Russ Landy in the booth, bringing you all of today's action for the Players All-Star Classic, the inaugural Players All-Star Classic, featuring the North Squad and the South Squad. Players from all over, not just the United States, but we just saw one from Canada, Carson Rockhill from Calgary U. The South takes the lead 13-3 in the first half. 2 minutes to go. They just went through their first 2-minute warning, and it's going to be Matt Blanchard under pressure for the North, finds his receiver. That is number 33. It's his running back, Derek Coleman, out of UCLA, a guy who really projects, maybe not as just a running back on the next level, but he could be a valuable asset on special teams.
Valuable special teams guy and possibly a fullback because he's a big, well-built kid. He's got good hands. He runs strong with the ball. If he can develop as a blocker, he's going to find a home because I think as a ball carrier, he doesn't have that quickness and agility to really be a feature back at the next level.
Only about 700 rushing yards last year for UCLA. Blanchard's going to take the snap again. This time he's handed off to Michael Smith, and Smith continues his strong running today with a first down inside the 15-yard line to about the 14 on 2nd and 6 with only 1:17 left. And there's only one timeout left for the North, and the South only has one as well, so we're going to see them hurry up here, try to get back to the line.
Yep, and what you saw there was what we were just talking about with Coleman. He stepped up. He did a great job of making a cut block in the hole, opened it up for Smith, and he was able to get a 10-yard gain. So really, he has the talent to make those blocks. He just has to be consistent. Ooh. And there's another bad snap, and this one leads to the quarterback getting squished up like a bug.
That is not what anyone wants to see happen to their quarterback. Blanchard, another bad snap, I believe the third one on this drive alone for him, coming out of Wisconsin Whitewater. One of those guys who didn't play in this type of offense in college, a spread or a super spread,
Yep.
as some are calling it, and that's really affected this drive today. A couple losses.
No question. That and the combined getting under center, you can see he really gets very low, and that often can lead to problems taking the snap, and that's one of the issues I think that he's having. He wants to get lower and lower to get a better handle on the snap, but it actually makes it worse when you do that.
That ball was batted away at the line of scrimmage. I believe that was the linebacker / defensive lineman, Kendrick Adams from LSU, getting a hand on it.
Yeah, they were trying to make the quick throw right out to the flat there to Hannah from Oklahoma, but Adams got his big mitts up and knocked it down.
It's going to bring up 3rd and 12 now. Coach is giving Blanchard the play call. This isn't something where you'll see them give signals out in these type of games because every quarterback's learning a different offense, so they're going to go to their coach every time on the sidelines or offensive coordinator. And this is a 3rd and long situation that you feel like they need to have, especially after getting the ball first. They don't want to go into halftime down this much and not getting the ball. As Blanchard's going to maybe find a man, and it is caught for a touchdown. A great one-handed grab in the end zone by number 88, and that's Marcus Rivers from Buffalo. We've called his name a couple times early.
Yeah, and this is the thing that Rivers can do. He's a big kid. He can get up there and he can adjust and make the tough catch. And right here, he did an outstanding job of reaching back and catching a pass thrown behind him, pulling it in, securing it, and making sure he didn't lose it when he went to the ground. And really, you also got to look at Blanchard. Stepped up in the pocket, avoided the wide rush, and was able to reset his feet and make a good throw there for Rivers to get the touchdown catch.
Taggart on for the extra point from UConn. You notice Blanchard, he didn't seem fazed by the fumbles on this drive. He showed some confidence being able to step up in the pocket there and deliver the football. And although it was a little behind, as long as he puts it in the vicinity of Rivers in this game, Rivers is going to make that grab.
Yeah, he seems to be on fire today, really doing a great job of staying focused and making tough catches. So he's not going to stress over putting the ball exactly where it has to be for his man to make the catch.
That gives the North some confidence. With only 31 seconds remaining in the second quarter, the South only a 3-point margin, 13-10, and we're awaiting kickoff. And I believe this is going to be a pretty plain drive for the South team. Just run out the clock and let's get into halftime with the lead and not show anything else.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Sometimes the coaches in these all-star games will tell the kid, hey, here, try to run a 2-minute drill, show NFL teams. But I wonder if they're going to do that here because these players really haven't had much time together, and there's been a lot of sort of confusion amongst the offense. I think that they're probably going to say, you know what, let's just run a few plays, run out the clock, and we'll end the half right here.
Back deep is Adrian Moore from UAPB for the South squad to return the kick. And Taggart will be kicking off. Also back there, Terrence Wilkerson. 13-10, 31 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Each team with only one timeout. Not likely anything will be tried here. Could see a squib kick. But the wind is going to get a hold of the ball first. It is quite windy out of the back end zone. And it's continued to not affect any of the field goals today, surprisingly.
No, I'll tell you what, it's been a great day for kick and field. They've had an opportunity to really show their skill because it hasn't been drastically affected by wind or by bad weather. So it's been a good situation for the kickers and all the players.
And when you look at kickers coming into these all-star games, a lot of people forget about them, but when you watch what happened throughout not only the college but the NFL season this year, having a valuable kicker could make the difference between going to a Super Bowl or winning a big bowl game more than you ever thought before.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, and a lot of people in the NFL, they think it's terrible, but kickers are a vitally important piece of your team. Most games in the NFL are 3 or 4 point differential, so that kicker can be the difference in a lot of games.
The South is going to take the ball back out. I believe that was Wilkerson there, taking it up to about the 26-yard line. 26 seconds remaining from the 26-yard line. And the South taking the field. It's Nathan Dick, number 14 out of UCA. We'll see if they try anything fancy here with only one timeout, 26 seconds remaining.
I think you can expect to see a quick little run right up the gut.
And they look like they might even go victory formation
that's
here.
what it looks like, yep.
No victory yet, but they will go in the formation, and there's going to be a penalty. 4 flags on the field. And we'll get the call.
Substitution infraction, defense, 5 yards, first down.
5 more yards. Now do you go for it?
I think they're still going to do the victory formation. Even though I would want to throw the ball a little bit just to give these kids a shot, I understand you don't want anybody getting hurt at the end of a half on some gimmick play down the field.
That is true. Now, when you look at a guy like Nathan Dick, he does have a strong arm, though, and you've been impressed you were telling me from what you've seen from him, not maybe the fastest guy in the world, but very efficient so far.
Oh, yeah, so far this game, he's really been efficient. He's been very accurate throwing the ball. So he's done a really good job overall, and I think definitely helped himself.
All right. Time is going to run out. 13-10, the South over the North at halftime. Let's head down to Jay Bird on the field with the head coach from the North team, Martin Bayless.
Yeah, we actually don't have him yet. We're going to try to get him in here in just a second, having to weave and wind through the crowds here. Here we go. We got him coming, I promise.
He is making
live
his way.
TV. You got to love live TV. Coach Bayless, how you doing?
Doing well today.
Fantastic. I guess what did you take away from that first half? Seems like your team kind of started slow, especially offensively. It kind of got things turned up. What'd you like?
Well, when you get bad field position from the kickoff, then that's what happens in the first half. We started to get our momentum back coming in the second quarter, and then we got some points on the board. They're a good football team. Our guys rallied back in the second quarter to make it a little bit closer game, but we'll be ready to go in the second half.
Now, you and Coach Schottenheimer kind of met there a little bit at half field there in the second quarter. What were you guys talking about?
It's just some things that we just try to get straight with each other.
All right, there you have it. Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck to you here in the second half. There you go, guys. Right now, North behind in this one, 13-10. We still got a whole another half to go, though.
All right, thank you, Jay. It is a close game here at War Memorial Stadium for the inaugural Players All-Star Classic. It is the end of the first half, and we will be back with some first half stats when we return right here on CSS. I am. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Can you hear me? Do we have stats? Can we go to another break while we get the stats? Or just... Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium for the inaugural Players All-Star Classic. The North and the South squaring off on the field, and so far the South and the North are in a close game, 13-10. The South lead at halftime. Chris Kane alongside my partner, Russ Landy. We've been dissecting this game up here in the booth. It's been a close game. Really, the quarterbacks on the South have done quite well moving the ball efficiently. On the North, they haven't moved it as well,
no,
but
they
they're
haven't.
still
Until
finding,
that last drive.
Until the last drive. Blanchard fumbled 3 times, yet they were still able to find the end zone.
Yeah, he did a really good job, especially even though he was fumbling, of maintaining his poise. A lot of guys, if they went through that fumbling issue, they'd be panicking and doing a bad job. He really did a good job, and you saw it on the touchdown pass. Didn't panic, stepped up in the pocket, found a receiver downfield, made a nice, easy throw.
All right, we'll have some first half stats when we come back right here on CSS for the Players All-Star Classic. Stay tuned. Yeah, finally. Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium, the site of the Players All-Star Classic game today, featuring the North and South squad here on CSS. We got a few things that we touched on at the break, but we'd like to mention them to the viewers of certain things that you picked out, Russ, during the first half that really stood out to you. And I know the lack of rushing on both sides has really affected them when trying to go for it on, 3rd and 12 and those long passing situations that make it tough on those quarterbacks.
Well, it does, because there's no threat or even concern by the defensive lineman that you're going to run the ball. So you have guys like Brandon Joyner, they're just pinning their ears back, and he had a great first half. He was coming off the corner, he was getting pressure, and Jaquez Smith from Missouri doing the same thing, constantly in the backfield. Even though they may not have been getting the sacks, they were at least getting in there and disrupting the play. And I think the guy, to me, at least of the receivers, you look at a guy, Darius Reynolds from Iowa State, had a really good first half. He made 2 catches on one drive, and on the different catches, he showed elusiveness on one, and on the next one, he turned around and showed the strength to break tackles. And those are traits that are hard to find in a receiver, being able to do both things. I was really impressed with Reynolds in the first half.
Let's take a look at our first half stats here. We have our graphic to show you. For the North squad, 106 passing yards, and most of that was led by Blanchard, actually. Matt Blanchard, number 15. He was 4 for 6, 58 yards, and a touchdown, and that really kind of gave them a little spark there towards the end.
He had that one big play where he got out and he threw it down the field, and I think it was Payne that made the great catch, cutting in between 2 defenders. So I think what Blanchard showed is athletically he can avoid the rush, he can do things. You just like to see him settle down a little bit more, but he has the tools, and that's what gets you excited. He's a developmental guy with a chance to develop into a starter.
All right, and you see the pass yards for the South team, only 97, but very efficient. Jordan Jefferson, 4 for 5, and Nathan Dick is 3 for 3. Your first half stats right there. And this game is being brought to you by DraftNasty.com. We'll have more from the Players All-Star Classic when we come back.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Back at War Memorial Stadium, time to take a look at some first half highlights from the Players All-Star Classic. This game started off slow for the North squad. The South really sped things up, though, starting with Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, right here he does a great job. He identifies there's nowhere to go with the ball. He says, you know what, I better run it or we're going to end up not getting anything from it.
And then right there, Brandon Bolden with a huge leap over the defender. Bolden showing his athleticism. And this is Stewart. This is Jeremy Stewart from Stanford. Projects as a fullback, showing you some athleticism. They were able to hit that outside hole, and I know this is a guy you like a lot, number 87, Darius Reynolds.
Yeah, he did a really good job. He made a guy miss, and then later he ran through a tackle. He showed a lot. And right here, Taylor Thompson, he shows why NFL teams after this week of practice are so excited about him.
Good pass by Nathan Dick. Look at this defense. It's suffocating for the South squad as Michael Smith doesn't go anywhere. Then it's Matt Blanchard from Wisconsin Whitewater, and that's Alex Tanny.
Getting sacked by Brandon Joyner. Yeah, they're really athletic kids. Had a great first half.
One of 2 sacks for Joyner in the half, and that was, I believe, Dominic Davis on that pass over the coverage. That was something he had to work on.
Exactly, yeah. He really had to find a way to show a little bit more touch rather than just being a gunning thrower.
There's right Michael Smith. On 4th and 1, able to bounce off his own offensive tackle, make a big first down gain into South territory. And Jordan Jefferson showing his speed and athleticism, but it's not going to help him right there. Number 94 for the North defense just suffocates him and wraps him right up. Scott Smith out of Texas Tech.
Yeah, and here you see this is another time he gets outside. This time he actually was able to get some positive yardage and make something happen. And right here,
a lucky break.
Yeah, a lucky break to say the least.
Squad.
Yeah, from Tony Clements fumbling the ball.
All right, that brings us to 13-10. The South squad has a narrow lead over the North. We've got the second half kickoff when we return right here on CSS.
Spare, 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 spare. Got you there. I hear me. I hear you. Okay, cool. All right.
We are back for the Players All-Star Classic at War Memorial Stadium. The North and the South squad squaring off this afternoon, 13-10 as we begin our second half coverage here on CSS. Chris Kane alongside Russ Landy here in the booth bringing you all the action. We'll join Jay Burr on the sideline in just a minute. Now, the South squad really was efficient in their quarterback play, Russ. You look at these numbers, 3 for 3 for Nathan Dick, threw a touchdown. Then you have, of course, Jordan Jefferson ran in a touchdown. Nathan Dick didn't throw one, but he did have that big play to Taylor Thompson. You look at the quarterbacks for the South, vastly different from the North. Not as consistent, but they did make some big plays in order to get to the end zone.
Oh, there's no question. I think when you look at Jefferson, you see a big kid with all the ability. His consistency is the major reason why he's not considered an elite prospect right now. And Nathan Dick is a guy that he's got a big arm. Teams want to see him become a little bit quicker and a little bit more efficient in terms of his passing mechanics and accuracy. If both those guys can do that, they have a chance to play at the next level.
Switching to the North quarterbacks real quick, Dominic Davis made that one throw that would really please scouts into coverage because it was right over that soft zone. Then you have a guy like Alex Tanney. Just nice to see him taking snaps under center. And then, of course, Matt Blanchard, although he struggled under center a little bit taking the snaps, he's able to get him into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really be excited about all three of those quarterbacks. They're all guys that came here with real questions. I think when you look at Tanney and Blanchard, two guys who played in shotguns that you didn't know how they'd perform, and Davis, who was sort of an inconsistent guy at East Carolina, but at least today he's shown a little bit better in consistency in terms of his accuracy and figuring out where to go with the ball against the defense.
Just about to start the second half here is David Taggart from UConn is set to kick off. And one quarterback we have yet to see is Aaron Corp, someone we talked about early on. We'll see if he is starting the second half of the South squad. But they are going to start in good field position yet again with number 18, taking it all the way down to about the 30-yard line. Terrence Wilkerson, 32-yard line is where they will start, and it looks like Aaron Corp making his debut in the game this afternoon.
Yeah, and this is a guy I want to see. I think everybody involved with the NFL wants to see because he was such a big recruit out of high school. The people at USC spoke so highly of him, thinking he was going to be their next great quarterback.
All right, let's head down to the sidelines now and join Jay Burr with Aaron Corp's coach, Kurt Schottenheimer. Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys. Yeah, we got Coach here. Kind of really dominated the first half there, really set the tone. What'd you like out of your team?
Well, I think we did a nice job on offense. We ran the football extremely well. Again, we were able to throw the ball, including going against the wind down there. We just got to finish off the drives, in the red zone and so forth, score touchdowns, set of field goals. Defensively, we did some good things defensively. We just got to have tighter coverage. We're letting the quarterback have too much, time to move around and scramble and so forth. The special teams have done a very, very nice job so far.
Now, you seem to be winning the battle in the trenches. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think we've got to do a better job at the defensive line of slowing down the quarterback scrambles and that sort of thing.
Now, I guess for coaches like you guys, you get to come out here, work with these guys, trying to make it to the next level. What do you guys get out of this?
Oh, it's just a great opportunity to do what we love to do, which is coach and teach these young kids, and they're very enthusiastic. They've been great all week long, and so we're having a lot of fun.
All right, good deal. Appreciate it, Coach. You bet. There you have it, guys. Let's head back to you.
Thanks, Jay, on that last play. Aaron Corp found a little screen pass to Joseph Banyard out of UTEP. Corp, Russ, we've seen his dual threat capabilities at USC at times. Fractured his fibula, you said, and that's kind of what slowed him down. Has he been able to find that first step again?
He looked pretty athletic this week in practice. The issue, I think, with him more than anything was just the passing this week. He struggled with accuracy, but as you can see right there, when he makes a really nice throw right before he gets hit, he can physically do it. You just want to see it more consistently.
Yeah, that pass was completed. Brandon Bostwick, you thought it was going to be maybe intercepted or at least tipped, but showing his accuracy and touch, able to zip it into coverage. as Corp picks up the big first down for the South squad. Joining us in the booth now, we want to welcome John Murphy, the program organizer for this entire game. John, thanks for joining us this afternoon, and certainly quite an event you guys have put on in Little Rock.
Yeah, and the city really has gotten behind us. It's a starting point today. I've done over 20 of these games all over the country, and like Russ and you guys have been saying, there's guys at every level here that played college football. That's a first that I know of. We also have a kid, the Long Ding. That's the first native of China to have a chance to possibly play in the NFL. And when you look at that, Yao Ming, what he did, for the NBA, this is a guy that the NFL tried 5 years ago, brought five guys to colleges in the United States, and this is one of them. So that's a great opportunity for this guy here. And like I said, I think there's an open avenue for a game like this to include guys from all levels of college, be successful, and we're hoping to have 20 or 30 of these guys possibly drafted, hopefully 50 or 60 in NFL camps, and this is just a starting point of where to go.
Now, this is an inaugural All-Star game, but that didn't stop the buzz from circulating around the NFL. Talk about how many scouts and personnel were here this past week to watch these kids compete.
Yeah, we had over 102 in the weigh-in on Tuesday, which great response for these guys. Over a half dozen guys who are NFL decision makers, which again is a terrific thing. And for this area and for people that are looking to support this game, the best thing that I can say about it is have a multi-year contract with this facility, and this was the only one of its kind this year to come off and be played without a major corporate sponsor, which is something to be said for the entire staff, the City of Little Rock, the Mayor's Office, and the Chamber of Commerce to help us put on a game like this without a major corporate sponsor, which means if you're out there looking, we're available.
Doesn't hurt to do a little promo on the air, certainly. If you could, real quick, just you talked about a lot of the players, or the scouts that were here. What do you think about the talent pool here? You see the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine game, but the talent here, there are a lot of players that you feel could definitely make it at the next level.
Right, we had the third most combine guys, and there's 7 All-Star games played. We had the third most of that. 4 or 5 of these kids, including Caleb McSurdy, were invited to the Combine just in the last week when the second group of invites came out, so they were excited. I think what you're seeing today maybe is the South getting off of practice early on Wednesday because of the weather, a little bit fresher out there. But, you look at up and down those 2 coaching staffs, they're all NFL names. These guys got a great amount of coaching, a lot of work in from these coaches this week, and I think it's something that we'll look back on and say this was a great starting point for what we look forward to in the future.
All right, let's look at some of that talent on the field. Let's get back to the action. John, I want to thank you for joining us up here in the studio booth.
Thanks, you guys.
Definitely thank you for bringing this to Little Rock. I think a lot of people really appreciate getting to watch talent like this compete right here in the capital city of the natural state.
Thanks, guys.
Back to the action, 11:25 left in the third quarter, 13-10. The South still has the lead. The North takes over, though. The South unable to capitalize on that drive with Aaron Corp leading the way. Corp looked pretty sharp on that dart down the sideline.
He's done a great job when you look at the past few throws he's made of making good throws with defenders in his face. And that's something that you have to wonder if he's a little bit hesitant. He got the injury when he was out at USC. Is he going to be willing and able to stand into the heat when a guy's coming down at him? And he's done a good job here. When Brett Roy was in his face, he made a strike throw there to Bostic. So it's been a good sign for him.
South taking over 2nd and 10 now. As Blanchard is in at quarterback, and he's going to hand the ball off up the middle. That ball goes to number 29. That's Lamford Mark out of Nevada. When you look at this guy's stats out of Nevada, they really do surprise you. Did not play the first 4 games this year and still had an amazing year for
Yeah, he was a really productive guy. I think when you look at him, he had 900 yards this year, 10 TDs. For a guy that wasn't the start of the whole season, it's remarkable. He really had a very good year. And when you watch him play, you got to look at the vision, the instincts. He's got a chance to make it on the next level because of those traits.
Had a good yard per carry average as well. Blanchard's going to step back, has time, finds a seam. It's going to be picked off. That is intercepted. Number 4, that's Trevanthan.
Yeah, from Kentucky.
From Kentucky, correct.
He did a great job there. I think he was just sitting there. He was reading the eyes. He understood where he was trying to go with the ball, stepped in, picked it off. That's the type of play he needs to make, because one of the concerns about him is how athletic is he? Can he play off the ball in space? He's viewed as sort of a limited athlete, so a play like that really stepped up and showed he's an athletic enough guy to be competitive in pass coverage.
Danny Trevathan with the pick there. It's going to give the South excellent field position as they start now on the 22-yard line. Aaron Corp back out with the troops, looking to lead them into the end zone and take a big lead now with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. South has a 3-point lead, and Corp is going to be in the gun with 3 wideouts, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and he moves his running back to his left-hand side as he takes the snap, looking deep. He's going to go over the middle, and it's going to be almost caught. That was his running back, actually, with the drop. Daryl Richardson. Richardson's a guy who you look at and you think maybe a fullback on the next level?
Yeah, I mean, you try to find sort of a spot for this guy. I mean, he's not a real big kid. He's 5'10", about 195. I think what he's going to have to do if he's going to make it to the next level is sort of be that jack of all trades, your backup running back, your third down back, and maybe even come in sometimes in a pass set when you want him to fill the role of a fullback, even though he's not going to be blocking anybody. So he's a versatile guy, and that's how he's going to make it at the next level.
Out of Abilene Christian, we've seen him earlier in this game make a few plays. Corp back in the gun, and he's going to throw, and his pass is going to be batted down at the line.
And that's Brett Roy, the kid from Nevada. Had a great week of practice. He's one of those guys who plays 100% every single snap, never stops competing. He's just a really good football player, great motor, and a much better athlete than he gets credit for.
And some people, when you look at other games that were played, some smaller quarterbacks might be very typical, but Aaron Corp's not a small quarterback. He's about 6'3".
Yeah, no, he's got everything you want height-wise. I think the concern with him is just he's not a real thick kid. He's a little bit thin-framed, even though he's 6'3 and a half, 214. He's not a real big kid below the waist, and his passing just needs to become more consistent. This year in college, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. That's not good enough at a lower level for a guy to be a legit NFL productive prospect.
Corp. He's going to step back. He's going to be under some pressure. Looking over the middle, and like you were talking about, needs to put a little more zip on that ball. Had a man open down the field, just unable to connect with A.J. Whitmore out of Arkansas Tech, a transfer from Tulsa.
Yeah, and that's a play that he needs to make. That's an NFL play. You step up on the pressure, say you see your receiver. You have to give him a chance. This one, he basically just buried it a foot in front of the receiver. The receiver had no opportunity to make the catch.
It wasn't off his back foot. He was able to step into that throw. Whitmore ran a great route, was able to take that one. Now we're going to go on the field to Long Ding. We've seen him quite a few times today, trying the long field goal, and once again, he is on the money. Just about a 40-yard field goal there. It is 9:44 left in the third quarter. The score 16-10. The South have the lead. We'll be back with more next.
The Buzz. Authority.com. And the officials of War Memorial Stadium. People that helped put on the Players All-Star Classic include Phil McFillin, owner of Shanks in Philadelphia, ShanksOriginal.com, Jonathan Hurd, Walter O'Neill, Garrett Jones, Exclusive Football League, Spencer Conley. The Players All-Star Classic would also like to thank Grant Jackson, the SEC officials crew, the UAPB band, and Jason Bradley.
We're back at War Memorial Stadium for the Players All-Star Classic. The score 16-10. The South take the lead. It is a nice day here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Nice and windy, judging by those flags. I tell you what, it hasn't affected the field goal kicking all day, though. We've seen the kickers be on point from anywhere from close yardage, about 15 yards out, all the way to 45.
Yeah, I mean, the weather hasn't been bad. I think it's a little more windy at the top of the stadium than down on the field because the flags are moving outside the stadium, but right down on the goalposts, they're just moving a little bit. And it's a beautiful day, clear, crisp day, a perfect day for football. makes for a perfect atmosphere for these guys to show NFL teams what they have, and you can look over here in the press box right next to us, and there's people from CFL teams, a number of NFL people. There's a lot of people taking a look to see which players impress they might want to put on their draft board, move them up a little bit, or at least bring them in and meet with them when they get their pre-draft visits. So definitely a good day for these kids to try to impress.
And Long Ding, one of those kids who have benefited from today. We were hearing earlier from John Murphy talking about being the first player from China to compete in one of these games. Certainly a great day for him. He is from Norwich University. And as he kicks it off, and the North is going to be looking to get some decent field position. And it looks like the ball came out and it's recovered. The South say they have it. They're going to move inside the 10-yard line, bottled up. What a tough break for the North squad. If this stands, and it appears it will, a fumble on the play. South recover.
Yeah, that's the last thing the North needed. I mean, to fumble the ball on a kickoff return, geez, that is just not what you want to see happen. Great job, though. You got to give the South credit. They were pulling at the ball as he was being tackled. The ball popped out, and they did a great job of getting on it quickly and pushing the ball down the field. Really a very good job when you look at what the South did there to create the turnover, get the ball, and keep bringing it downfield.
Looked like maybe Cody Sensenbaugh out there on the player. Brandon Bolden, excuse me, with the recovery on that one. Bolden, the running back from Ole Miss, we saw him earlier today. Not on the field now, but he'll certainly be happy with his teammates on the sideline after putting his offense in great position to score, and they almost do. Aaron Corp just missed his wideout. That was number 80 on the play, and that's Tony Clemens from Colorado.
And it almost looked like he could have caught this ball. It looks like he put it right on his hands, and that Clemens didn't come down with the catch. That's one of those ones you have to make. If you're going to be an NFL receiver, you can't have the ball go through your hands on a skinny post there right into the end zone. Have to be able to pull that in because those are key plays in the game.
Little contact as he caught the ball seemed to have affected his ability to score that potential touchdown. Corp's going back to the air, though. He's going to find his receiver. That is number 81, Rashad Carter, out of Tuscaloosa.
Yep, and this is a good play if you watch it for showing what Corp can do. He's an athletic kid. Pull him out of the pocket, and Rashad Carter here runs a good route, and it gets over to the sideline, so he's an easy target for Corp to hit while he's on the move. This is a play that you need to be able to make in the NFL, and it's a good overall play by both the quarterback and the receiver.
A couple of small college prospects there. Aaron Corp, although he did play at USC, transferred to Richmond, and Rashad Carter from Tusculum. Now they are marching and looking like they could be knocking on the doorstep in just a few short plays, but it is 3rd and 4. They're going to go back to the ground, and that is going to be Jeremy Stewart from Stanford, and he is completely bottled up by that North defense. On the stop there, looks like the entire defensive line met him.
Yeah, they
saying,
all
"You're
got
not
in
going
the backfield.
anywhere."
I think they were led by Tamir Whitehead out of Temple. I think he burst in the backfield there and made the tackle.
Whitehead on the stop, joined by his teammates, and that's going to bring up another field goal situation, and lo and behold, it's going to be our man, Long Ding from Norwich University, looking to kick yet another field goal in this game with 8:14 remaining. It's a short kick, and it is going to be no good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was a bad snap, so it's not all on him.
Not all on him. That's going to be a tough break for the South squad. Still a 6-point game. The South over the North. 8:09 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Do it. No problem. Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas. Chris Kane alongside my partner Russ Landy in the booth, bringing you today's action for the Players All-Star Classic. The South just missed a field goal, which would have put them up 19-10, but now it is 16-10. The North has taken over, and they're finding some room. It's looking like it's going to be our man from earlier. We've been talking about him all day. Michael Smith with a huge touchdown run, putting the North up. Now, 16-16 all, 80 yards, and Smith untouched almost the entire rest of the way. Got bottled up a little bit at the line, and you can see his breakaway speed is something.
Yep, and that's what his strength is. If he can get a little bit of space, he has the elite explosiveness to take plays the distance. And you see right here, he runs through a hit, keeps his feet, and just off to the races.
And that's going to tie it at 16. The potential to take the lead. They did not take the lead on that. We'll see if Taggart can put them ahead 17-10 on this extra point attempt. The snap and the hold look good. The ball is right through the uprights, and it is 17-10. Quite a turn of events here. The North takes the 1-point lead, their first lead of the game. We'll have more from the Players All-Star Classic on CSS next. Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium, the Players All-Star Classic on CSS. Here in the booth, Chris Kane alongside Russ Landy. And I tell you, Russ, that was quite a spark for the North offense, one that's been struggling on the ground throughout the day. And Michael Smith takes it 80 yards to open the game up now. 17-10, did the North take the lead. All right, now for more on the game, let's head down to the sidelines and join our third member of our team with Jay Burr. Hey, Jay. Believe we were having some technical issues down there on the sideline. We'll get back to Jay in just a moment. Now to the action. Looks like Aaron Corp staying on the field. The quarterback from Richmond, transferred from USC after his sophomore year. Had some injury problems. Looks to be doing okay now, and he's going to hand the ball off. That's number 25 for the South squad, Daryl Whitting from Fordham.
Daryl Whitting from Fordham, an intriguing kid because he's a strong and physical runner. Played some fullback at Fordham. And has a chance to make it in the league, but Whitting's going to have to really improve a lot if he's going to make it in the NFL.
That brings up 2nd and 8 now for the South squad. Excuse me, that was Brandon Bolden on that last carry. Bolden from Ole Miss. And he's going to get the ball again. Bolden breaking some tackles, and he's making it out to just about the 27-yard line for the South squad. And all of a sudden, it is now going to bring up 3rd and short, 3rd and 3 for Aaron Corp and the South team. We're going to go back down now to the sideline. Join Jay Burr, third member of our team, with a special guest, Jay.
Yeah, we'll try this again here. Yeah, I think you guys got me now. Brian Martin here. Test Football Academy is one of the title sponsors here. I guess, Brian, what's Football Academy all about?
We prepare guys for games like this, for the All-Star Game and for the Combine, and we work on getting the guys faster and working on positional training with all our former pros on staff to get the guys ready to dominate games like this.
Now, it's a pretty intense, I guess, transition from college to the league. I mean, kind of what do you see from these guys that they're trying to make that transition?
Well, I think, it's a mental preparation. It's getting ready, to take that next step and being ready for the playbook. That's where we get into the nuances of football. We try and look at it from a scout's eye and get feedback from the scouts to help the guys get adjusted to games like this and make that transition more mentally than physically. I think it is from college to the NFL, and then physically, obviously we're working on flexibility and positional work and, speed training with Otto Bolden, our speed guru, getting these guys ready to be as fast as possible.
Yeah, you kind of see some of these guys have that deer in headlights look as they get into it, and it's like, wow, this is actually a lot more intense than what I had envisioned.
Yeah, it depends on the guy. You got guys here from LSU and Ole Miss, they're used to playing. But you got guys that are, here that are, played in the SEC. They're ready for this kind of thing. What some of the smaller school guys from D2, D3, I think that's a little bit more. Early in the week, they had a deer in the headlights with the scouts, but now that they've settled in, I think they're ready to go. These guys here at the Players All-Star Classic, they've done a great job, and John Murphy and the Van Fulton brothers always do a good job.
And you actually have about 12 guys in this game today.
Yeah, we have 12 guys here, a few quarterbacks. We have Aaron Corp and Jordan Jefferson, and we also have Alex Tanny, the D3 wonder, on the opposite side coming out, and Brandon Bolden, a bunch of the guys. Some of our big guys are here as well. The Clemson, the right side of the line, Landon Walker and McLean. These guys are really doing well. We're proud of them.
All right, there you have it. Test Football Academy. Brian, thanks for joining us with us.
All right, thanks for having me.
Let's head back up to you guys.
Thanks, Jay. Some Arkansas flavor on this drive. Sean McGrath, the long snapper, caught a nice pass along the sidelines earlier in the play, and then he's from Henderson State. As we look here, Aaron Corp just missed a touchdown throw deep down the sidelines, and it was a little underthrown.
Yep, and I think that was he saw the rusher coming by his feet, so I think he just pulled it a little bit. And I'll tell you what, though, you look at what he's done in this drive. He's made 2 or 3 really good throws, a very nice touch pass to McGrath, who 2 years ago at Henderson State looked like a future promising prospect. He caught 55 passes, 656 yards. This year, 6 catches. Don't know what happened. Yeah, and they brought him here only as a snapper, but in the first practice, they got him out there running some routes, and wow, they were impressed. And the whole week, I think he started to climb up the depth chart and started playing and catching more balls.
It's a major drop-off. And here's Corp. He's going to be flustered out of the pocket. He finds his tight end, and that's the second catch on this drive for Philip Supernaw.
Yeah,
Supernaw from Ouachita Baptist.
Yep, and it's a good play. You look, Supernaw did a good job of getting out there, staying moving, because Corp had to get out of the pocket. He was flushed from the pocket, and Supernaw continued his route. He didn't stop. A lot of young guys will stop their route and just wait for the quarterback to find him. Right here, he keeps moving to the sideline, and Corp does a great job. He gets out of the pocket, throws a nice, accurate throw. This drive right here, to me, has been the most impressive play of a quarterback so far this game. Corp has looked like a legitimate draftable quarterback on this drive.
Quick note on Supernaw and McGrath, as Brandon Bolden is going to be gobbled up at the line of scrimmage. Both those players from the same town in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Ouachita Baptist and Henderson State are actually right across the street from each other, and each year they play each other. It's called the Battle of the Ravine, and the other team, the visiting team, will literally walk across the street to go play the home team. So both those guys playing on the same team here. It is a good rivalry here in the Natural State, but I'm sure they're happy to be playing together and getting an opportunity to maybe get drafted.
Yeah. Not as close, but it's sort of like those 3 schools in Carolina with Duke, North Carolina, and North Carolina State.
That's right. All right, Corp looking at 3rd and 10 now with about 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. He's looked very efficient on this drive. And he's going to throw over the middle into double coverage and almost picked off there. The safety for the North. Very close at making that one a swing the other way. That was Chad Fulton, number 37. And he was back there in that zone coverage, and he just stepped up and almost picked it off.
Yeah, he was just sitting there. He saw him in deep set. He was reading the quarterback. He broke and closed. This is the sort of thing he did at Montclair State. He was the Defensive Player of the Year 2 straight years in the conference, and he really, on this play, showed the same instincts that enabled him to be such a good player in college.
Montclair State in New Jersey, up near where you're from.
Home of Sam Mills, one of the great linebackers of all time in the NFL.
certainly hoped he could maybe get to that pedigree one day. Very
yeah, no
tough
question,
to get to.
right?
Corp's going to be under duress, but he finds his way out of it, going down the field. His receivers held up, and there's no flag on the play. You could tell they were looking for one on that one.
And once again, Corp makes a throw. This is not what you want to do. When you get out of the pocket, you don't want to throw a ball up that's a little bit risky.
You can take a look at this replay here. Corp does a great job of escaping the pressure, finds some time rolling out, and you can kind of see his receiver got tangled up just a bit, but the ball's well underthrown, doesn't really give him a chance to catch it.
Yeah, it's a lot of the time in these games, they're not going to call a penalty unless it's completely blatant because they want to let these kids play and show the scouts what they have. They don't want to affect the outcome of the game.
That was Falcon again on that play, making the deflection. That's 2 straight, but I bet you he would trade in those 2 deflections for that interception. Nonetheless, they get the ball back, the North squad, starting on the 29-yard line. 1-point lead, 17-16. with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. In at quarterback, the starter for the game, that's Dominic Davis out of ECU. And he's going to take the option play up for a good gain, about 8 yards on the play. And he showed some initial quickness there that we didn't really see early in this game.
No, it really showed his athletic ability. They did a good job as a designed inside quarterback draw, and the lineman pulled, led the way, and it was a perfect spot for him. He just followed it up, got 7 or 8 yards right and easy. A great play to use a guy who has athletic ability running the ball.
A big quarterback. He's about 6'3.5", tough to bring down, and certainly a guy who has an NCAA record that many people probably don't know about. 26 straight completions against Navy last year. Broke the record, and he's going to find another receiver in soft zone, and that's a guy that we were talking about earlier, and that is Marcus Rivers, number 88. And he made some big plays earlier, and finding him in the zone that's Davis's forte this afternoon.
Yeah, and he did a good job here. He let him work across the field. He didn't try to force it earlier. He let him work across to where he was free from the zone coverage, hit him in stride. It was a very good job by Davis, and also a good job by Rivers of wrapping up the ball because the defense came and they were stripping at the ball to try to get him to fumble.
The big play, first down, into the South Territory. The ball on the 45-yard line. Davis has 2 wideouts split left. 2 in the backfield. He's going to take the snap and hand the ball off to number 14. That's Joe Martinek out of Rutgers. A guy who was a highly touted player.
Oh, he was a big-time recruit coming out of high school.
Rutgers.
Went to Rutgers. He was actually a tailback in high school. Went to Rutgers. They put him at fullback, and then his sophomore year, they had so many injuries, they had to put him back at running back. Ran for almost 1,000 yards. The last 2 years, he's been a fullback. He has great hands, great vision and instincts running the ball. He's just not an explosive kid.
Taken out by Aston Whiteside.
Yep, from Abilene Christian.
A couple Abilene Christian players in this game, one on offense, one on defense. Davis is going to resort to the shotgun. He's going to fake the handoff, almost lost the ball, but he keeps it, and he's going to make his way for another big first down. Davis using his legs to extend this drive for the North squad. That was on 2nd and 12, picks up much-needed yardage.
Yeah, that was another one of those design plays, and Davis did a great job of, after initially fumbling the snap there, he did a good job. He pulls it back in. He stayed poised, and he said, let's get running here. And he does a good job of following his receiver, who got a little bit of a push on the defender to get the first down.
Davis, 2 big runs on this drive. Makes it 1st and 10 now on the 31-yard line for the North squad. He's got 3 receivers, 1 in the backfield. With just under a minute 20 left to play in this third quarter, he's going to be under pressure, and he is going to be forced to throw it away.
And that's Jaquez Smith, who's been a constant disruptive force from Missouri. All week he was productive. He's a very nimble, athletic guy who can beat blocks, and right there he just made it look easy. He came off the edge, forced Davis to the opposite side, and ended up forcing him to throw the ball away.
Looked like it could have been a sack, but he was able to get it away and find a receiver in the vicinity. Avoids the intentional grounding on that play. Still, 2nd and 10. No loss of yardage on that play.
On the 31. It's a great situation.
Live to see another day now with 2 in the backfield and 2 receivers split out on each side. Davis is going to take the snap, and he's going with the fade route. Has a man down the field, and it is caught! One-handed grab, an incredible catch by Philip Payne out of UNLV, and all of a sudden the North extend their lead to 23-16.
Payne earlier in the game did the same thing right here. He shows the ability to make a tough catch. He tracks it excellently with a defender right on his hip, pushing at him. He does a great job of pulling the ball in. It's an outstanding catch. Great focus and concentration to make a one-handed catch. Not many guys do that.
And Davis's throw was spot on as well.
Perfect.
Gave it just enough hang time to allow his receiver to get down the field.
Yep, and it was perfect also. The defender had no chance. It just dropped right in. It was a great throw by Davis. That's what you want to see from him. He has to prove he can make all the throws accurately if he's going to become an NFL quarterback.
Quite a turn of events here lately. One to end the first half and to start the second half now, or to end the third quarter, I should say. It is 24-16. The North have taken the lead as we wind down the third quarter. Philip Payne showing off some skills at UNLV. Talk about his college career and what he was able to do and how that might help him translate it to the next level.
Well, I think when you look at Payne, I mean, he's a 3-year starter at a UNLV. Now, they don't throw the ball a ton. He didn't catch like 80, 90 balls. He caught in the 40s every year for about 500 yards. But what he is he's a smooth route runner, gets open, has a great feel for where the coverage is, and he really does a great job of maintaining his focus on the ball and catching balls that are not perfectly thrown. Now, this one's perfectly thrown for the situation, but it's a very difficult catch. And he does a great job. He gets his arm out there, pulls it in while he keeps the defender from being able to reach in and break it up. Outstanding concentration, really stayed focused, and really showed you that he has the skills to make tough catches at the NFL level.
Ability to brush off the contact even down the field and still make that catch is something I know that scouts are going to be looking at. Now, what does the South have to do? Okay, they found themselves up 16-10 at one point. It seems like ever since that missed field goal, they've really struggled to get anything going on offense. What are they going to do now?
Well, I think if it were me, I mean, Aaron Corp looked really good on the last drive. I would say, you know what, we're not going to rotate another quarterback. We're going to play Corp again for this drive. He looked like he was the best quarterback in the game on the last drive. Let him go out there, let him throw it, and let's see how well he does, because he was making some great passes, and he was also doing a great job avoiding the rush, getting outside the pocket. If he can do that, I think you have to look at this kid and think he's got a future in the NFL. That's why I'd keep him in the game right now. He seems to be playing very good football.
Taggart from UConn on the kickoff. Back deep is Jericho Nelson from Arkansas. And also Wilkerson from SMU. And Wilkinson's going to find a little lane there and make his way out for a good gain all the way to the 35-yard line. No shortage of good field position for both these teams today. They're able to find the 30 to 35-yard line range. And as you said, Aaron Corp is making his way back out onto the field. And for you to say that he has had the best of any quarterback today is saying something, considering Jordan Jefferson was 4 for 5 and Nathan Dick was 3 for 3. All the South quarterbacks seem to be running on all cylinders. It's just not translating on the scoreboard.
They're stopping at the end.
Yes.
They're getting down there, and things are sort of petering out when they get near the opposing team's red zone. And Corp, I mean, on that last drive, he made 2 or 3 legit NFL throws, both touch throws and power throws. This kid has looked really good. I mean, right there, he does another good job making a nice quick throw to Supernaw. I mean, those are the type of plays that you want to see from Corp to show you that he's got the athletic ability and ability to throw on the move that's so vital to succeed in the NFL.
You see Corp really favoring his tight ends recently with Supernaw there. 3 times now on the last 2 drives he's gone to him, and it's produced
working.
good results.
Yep.
Yeah, why go away from something that isn't working? Still with a lot of time left, do they go back to a running game at this point as the third quarter winds down?
I mean, it could, and you would like to see them because it gives everybody an opportunity. But my guess is they're saying, hey, Corp is playing great football. They may run it a little bit, but I think as long as he's in the game, they're going to try to throw it because he is really throwing the ball.
Another rollout, and that one is just tipped, it looked like, in the secondary. And speaking of defense, we're going to head down to the field and join Jay Burr, who has a member of the Arkansas defense now on the South squad. Jay, you're there with Jericho Nelson joining you on the sideline. How's it going down there?
Pretty good down here. It's starting to get a little chilly. Wind's not blowing too bad down here, like you guys alluded to earlier. But like you said, safety / linebacker Jericho Nelson. Jericho, I guess, what's this whole week been like for you?
You know, just been a grind, you know, to try to come out and show the scouts what you can do at practice, you know, in individual drills, one-on-ones, you know, just show them how physical you can be, you know, just show them to see what, you know, what they want in the player. And just to get, you know, together with guys from all over, you know, and just come together and compete.
Yeah, you mentioned just guys from all over. You're one of 14 guys representing Arkansas universities. I mean, that's got to be kind of a big deal to you.
It is, you know, every day we stretch, you know, the coaches tell everybody from Arkansas get up top, you know, to lead the stretch. This is our home field, you know, and this is the state we represent, so it's very honor.
Now, I guess one of the big knocks on you has been kind of your size. What have you been trying to show this week to show you, hey, size doesn't really matter?
You know, that I could be physical, you know, and I could play anyone in the secondary, anyone in the box.
And obviously special teams as well.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Actually, they calling me right now.
All right, go do your thing.
All right, thank you.
All right, it's Jericho Nelson, safety / linebacker from the University of Arkansas, trying to make a name for himself here in the Players Classic.
All right, thank you, Jay. We've reached the end of the third quarter here at War Memorial, 24-16. The North has come back to take the lead. We'll see if the South can bounce back when we return right here on CSS for the Players All-Star Classic.
I still didn't get my last 3 because I won the triple or nothing. I'm gonna have to like be at somebody for that. Like, man, that's bullshit. I don't know. Hey, okay, yeah, let's talk a little Jericho. I wonder if you did that when you were standing somebody over there. Yeah, I don't know if he has to go out or not. Yeah, let's start talking to some of these Arkansas guys. Didn't Nathan Dick play for Arkansas? UCA? Lloyd. Good. Now let me see if they want anything.
We are back here at War Memorial Stadium for the Players All-Star Classic. The North has a 24-16 lead over the South as we begin the fourth quarter. Aaron Corp and company looking to regain some part of the lead that they lost earlier in this game. Corp is going to find his receiver, and that right there is A.J. Whitmore out of Arkansas Tech. It's a guy who transferred from Tulsa and ended up having a really good career at Arkansas Tech.
Had a really good career, and he's a late addition. He wasn't here at the beginning of the week. He came on, I think, Wednesday, and he's really done a good job since he arrived. I mean, he's practiced well, and you can see right there, shows good hands and isn't afraid to catch a ball across the middle.
Yeah, got a little brush of his face mask there,
yeah.
but he was able to brush it off and make his way for a first down. Now, going back to the interview we had before the break, a guy that we talked about a little bit before the game today is Jericho Nelson, a little undersized, but someone that you think could fill in at several different roles.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can tell you, when we did him on film, we really liked him. And then when we talked to other scouts around the league, they really like him because they think he can be your nickel corner, your backup safety, and they also think he's going to be a great special teams player. So the type of guy who could actually never start a game but could have a 10-year NFL career.
That's you don't see that too often. And Aaron Corp, as we mentioned earlier, trying to find some more zip on his passes. It's lacking a little bit. He's been efficient, but on the deep throws, he hasn't really been too efficient. Real quick right there, as you can see, Jericho Nelson and Jordan Jefferson on the same team. They were high school teammates. Jericho Nelson in high school was a running back, Jordan Jefferson the quarterback for a state championship team down in Louisiana. It's been a pretty fun rivalry with Arkansas and LSU every year. They get to play each other. Not too many people know this, but Jordan Jefferson actually started his career here at War Memorial Stadium as a freshman. Played very well early on here too as well. I know a lot of people very high on his performance, and they are enjoying being teammates again.
No, and I'll tell you what, it's a good situation for a guy like Jefferson. I mean, he comes here and he gets an opportunity to show scouts the things that they had doubts about. Accuracy, consistency, and he's done a good job all week and in the game today.
Do you think we'll see Jefferson or Nathan Dick for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think after this drive, they're going to give one of them a chance. I don't know which one's played more in terms of snaps, but I think Jefferson's played a little bit less, so he may get back out there.
Okay. Aaron Corp still in the field for the South team. Corp has his squad at 3rd and 6 now on about the 27-yard line. 3 receivers, 1 in the backfield, and 1 tight end. And Corp is going to go on the draw. Corp showing off some speed, and he's breaking to the outside. He will slide down at the 16-yard line. That's the first step. Scouts were wanting to know if he still has, like he had at USC, before he broke that fibula.
Yeah, and right there's another example. He's an athletic kid. He can make plays with his feet. It looks like it's a busted play. It looks like he has trouble with the snap, and he just says, you know what, I'm taking off with it. And look at him. He's athletic. He can run. I mean, you got to like a quarterback who's not afraid to run with it, especially one that had a broken leg, and he's still not scared to pull it down and take off scrambling.
On 3rd and 6, giving his team extra life here. He's got one wide out, split out to the right, one to the left. It's A.J. Whitmore, a Arkansas Tech receiver, out to the right, 2 in the backfield. And Corp is going to fumble the snap. It is recovered, I believe, by the South squad. It is.
Yep, by Joe Banyard.
Joe Banyard saves the drive. And we talked about it. We know that these quarterbacks aren't used to the centers. Some of them played out of the spread offense. This is something we expected to see today. Unfortunately, though, the players and coaches were hoping to avoid it.
Yeah, they were hoping to, but I will say they probably are looking at this and saying, well, it's been a lot better than practice was, so it's not that bad.
Well, about 20 in practice, you said, correct?
There was one day where one team had about 13 and the other had about 5. It was unbelievable. It was just constant center quarterback exchange problems.
Fortunately, the rain left here a long time ago in the morning, so they don't have to worry about that. Clear skies here at War Memorial Stadium. Slight wind as Corp takes the snap. He's going to pump and throw deep. Beautiful thrown ball, but it's just overthrown for A.J. Whitmore.
Yeah, you know, he showed a good arm on that, but it was unfortunately a little bit too deep. He lacked a little bit of accuracy in the end, but it was a good shot to take. I mean, he generally was a good throw in terms of his placement, setting up, and right there you see him, he just lets it go just a little bit overthrown.
For a guy who's underthrown several balls today, you could tell he's tried to put a little more zip on it, and it unfortunately can backfire.
That's exactly what he did.
All right, well, let's head down to the sideline now and join Jay Burr. Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys, join with me now. Rennie Moore out of Clemson. Rennie, I guess a game like this, it's starting to get a little intense out there, even though this is kind of an exhibition.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it's all in good fun, though, man. We're just out here working hard, trying to, show a good game, man. And, everybody's doing good out there. We're working hard, man. I'm having a great time, though.
And what's it like for you? Obviously coming from a big-time program, one of the big conferences. You're playing with some of these guys from these smaller schools. I mean, kind of what's that like for you?
I mean, it's great, man. Just seeing how different people, different teams do it, and, man, everybody works hard out here. It's nothing changed. Football is football no matter where it's at. It's just good seeing everybody enjoying the game, loving it the way I do. So, I mean, I'm loving it right now. It's good.
What's been the best part about this week?
Really just meeting everybody, meeting new people, man, and, just making new friends, really.
Friends for life. Maybe you'll see him in the league.
Oh, I hope so.
All right, Rennie Moore. Thanks for joining us now. Rennie Moore, defensive end of Clemson. Maybe you'll see him in the Super Bowl next year. We're playing that tomorrow. Let's head back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Jay. I think every player on the field would love to be playing in next year's Super Bowl. A quick timeout on the field as the South is facing 4th and 25. They look like they were going to go for it. I think they might be rethinking that decision. 24-16, the North has the lead. And we'll be back with more from the Players All-Star Classic next. After a rainy, stormy start to the morning in Little Rock, Arkansas, a beautiful sunset now over the capital city here in the natural state. Chris Kane alongside Russ Landy here in the booth as the South tries to kick a long field goal. Looks to be about a 45-yarder. And it is good.
And once again, he shows he has a long leg. He can make all the kicks. He's got a strong leg. That's why he punted, he kicked off, and he was the place kicker at college.
Long Ding out of Norwich University has been most of the offense today
no doubt.
for the South team as they narrow the lead now to just 5 points with 11:39 left in the third quarter. You can see Long Ding, one of the first ever person from China to play in an all-star game. Certainly a proud moment for him and his family today.
No question, and I think you got to be impressed by what he's done. 4 field goals, that's pretty good.
That's pretty solid. Only one miss, and it was a bad hold and a bad snap, so not too bad of a day for him. As the sun's setting here in Little Rock, it's getting a little more chilly out on the field. It is winter time. Started the day feeling pretty good, but the players now making their way back out onto the field. I tell you, when you look at the quarterback play today, it really stands out how efficient and accurate they were. Even though there were some throws that maybe missed the mark a little bit, the receivers were able to make up for them.
Yep.
So on the stat sheet, they're looking much better.
Oh, yeah, no question. I tell you what, it's been a surprisingly impressive day by the quarterbacks because throughout the week there was a lot of ups and downs by these guys, and what you've seen so far is you've seen good, accurate passing, great hands by the receivers. It's really been an impressive day for nearly all the players.
The tight ends in this game, too, especially on the South squad, have been utilized very efficiently, starting early on with Nathan Dick, finding Taylor Thompson, a SMU guy, started on the defensive line for SMU. And June Jones said, hey, if you want to play in the NFL,
you're probably going to have to play a tight end.
That's exactly right. And a lot of scouts were telling you this week, hey, does that look like Gronkowski to you?
Yeah, he's a big, good-looking kid and well-built, strong, can run, has great hands.
There's Michael Smith on the return for the North team, and he's going to take it up to just about the 29-yard line where the North will start. We'll see who comes out at quarterback for the North team. It was Dominic Davis the last time around, and it looks like they're going to go back to Alex Tanney. Tanney's a guy from Division III, Monmouth, and he set the NCAA record for career touchdown passes with 157. And if you haven't seen his YouTube video yet, Alex Tanney, trick shot quarterback, I highly suggest to watch it. Over 1 million views. It is quite impressive, his accuracy. If I'm him, I'd go tell an NFL scout, hey, I know you want to watch my film, but you should probably check out my YouTube video too.
No question.
And a trick play here for the North squad. They got a man wide open down the field, and it is caught. Julian Talley out of UMass. UMass, you might recognize that college because of Victor Cruz went there. But it looks like this play is going to be coming back. Some laundry on the field, and it's holding on the offense on the reverse throw. Brings a beautiful play back. Nonetheless, a great play and a good throw there.
Very good throw by Marcus Rivers.
Yeah, Rivers.
He really did a good job. Not many receivers can throw the ball 30, 40 yards downfield, but he did a great job. Threw a nice catchable ball. It's just disappointing to see a play like that lost to a penalty.
Fortunately for him, he doesn't have to worry about footwork or anything. Just get the ball down the field. The scouts won't care how I do it. So that's going to back them up 10 yards now. It's going to be 1st and 20 on their own 19.
It's amazing how the one penalty can swing. They would have a 1st and 10 in the red zone. Now they're a 1st and 20 inside their own red zone.
Still 11 minutes left in the game. The North only a 5-point lead, 24-19 over the South. It looks like the North is going to go in an I formation here. Tanney under center, something he's not used to, running out of that super spread, but he hasn't had too much trouble with it today, but he is having trouble there. Number 6 on the defense, that's Desmond Moses out of Tulane, and he just wraps him up and sends him flying.
Yeah, I mean, he just went right through the offensive tackle. He made it look sort of easy, and Tanney really had no chance. He sets deep, and boom. Right before he can do anything to try to avoid it, the guy's right on top of him. Right now, what they really have to do is they have to avoid turning it over, hope they can punt the ball down the field and get some good field position to put the South in a bad spot so they can't come down and take the lead.
It's amazing how one penalty went from the 20-yard line now to their own 7-yard line just in one play, or 2 plays, really.
That's why you have coaches like Marty Schottenheimer when he was coaching the NFL and Bill Belichick. They stress so much. Fundamentals, don't make mistakes, don't commit penalties, because those things can literally cost you a game.
Tanney now in the shotgun where he's very comfortable in, and he shows it. Throwing a dart down to the sideline. Solid gain on the play of about 15, 20-yard line,
and
or 15, 20 yards.
Catching another pass.
He's been one of his favorite targets today. It's going to set up not a 3rd and manageable, but more manageable than 37 yards.
Exactly, yes. At least it gives him an opportunity to get a first down. And the reality is it also gets the punter so he won't be sitting under the shadow of his goalpost when he's got a punt. He could actually punt it and really put the South in bad field position.
We'll see if they go back to the air here. One in the backfield. And that's Martinick out of Rutgers. 2 wide, 2 tight ends. Tanny's going to throw down the field, and his receiver wasn't ready, and it was nearly, very nearly, picked off by number 1. That's Jeremy Lane out of Northwestern State.
Who had an excellent week this week. He's a very physical kid, does a great job of getting his hands on the receiver, pushes him around. He's a guy that a lot of people in the NFL were buzzing this week. They really liked how he played, liked his athletic ability. They think he's got a bright future in the NFL.
And a solid college career as well, one that many people wouldn't really many tackles, you wouldn't even know.
No,
coming out of Northwestern State, a small school in Louisiana.
Yep. And not only was he a very good football player, but he was also in high school a huge track star. So you know he can run.
The speed is pivotal. You can't teach it.
No, and right here you may get a chance. I think he's returning this punt, so maybe we'll get a chance to see some of that speed.
The punt is away. That punt is from Ryan Tidlachka. Oh no, it's a fumble. The ball is bouncing around, and it looks like it's still unrecovered, and the North is going to say they have it. We'll see if they do. Lane botched it. And now at the bottom of the pile, we'll see who comes away with it. Could be a pivotal moment in the game. If the North is able to recover this after being backed up, the South was about to get the ball back. North says they have it. South says they have it. Refs say the North has it. A huge break for the North. A chance now with some great field position inside the 30-yard line. As we take another look at this play, it looks like he caught the ball and then fumbled on his first step.
Yep, exactly. I think he had a loose handle on the ball when he got it. And then it was just a matter of who in the pile was able to pull it away from whomever else.
There it is. You can see a better angle.
Oh, and when he slipped, when his back leg slipped, he lost a little bit of control of the ball and got it away from his body, and boom, the ball was out.
A North defender was able to dart in there and avoid him recovering his own fumble, setting his team up with great field position as Tanny is back on the field now with 3 wide, 1 in the backfield. 9:36 left of the game, 1st and 10 for the North squad. Tanny's going to take the snap, play action, looking deep. Has a man in the flat, but he's going deeper in between coverage, and it is dropped. Dropped on the play. Number 4, Danny Trevathan, excuse me.
That would have been his second interception if he held on to that one.
That is one he'd like to have back out of Kentucky.
Yeah, you got to look at Tanny there. I think that's one of those ones where it's the small school not realizing how fast those guys can close that. He thought he could squeeze it in there, and clearly as soon as the ball left his hands, you knew he was in trouble.
Certainly going against an SEC school like Kentucky, much different than what you would face at Monmouth College. It looks like the North are going to take a timeout here with 9:29 left in the fourth quarter. 24-19. It's going to be 2nd and 10 for the North squad when we come back here on CSS for the Players All-Star Classic. And we're back now with the North taking over at the 30-yard line after a fumble by the South squad on a punt. And it's Alex Tanny in the shotgun. On the screen play, he's going to find Derek Coleman. Out of UCLA, little slip screen. He finds his way down inside the 25-yard line to about the 22.
And I tell you, that's something that Coleman has to do. You're going to be a guy who makes it as sort of a versatile backup. You got to catch the ball well, and here he does a good job. It's not a great throw. He reaches out, he gets it, and he does a good job of being patient. He follows his blockers. Unfortunately, the offensive lineman out there missed the block, or else he might have been able to get the first down there.
It's going to bring up 3rd and short now. 3rd and 2 now from the 22-yard line, excuse me. 2 wide, 2 in the backfield. Tanny's going to be under center. And Tanny's going to take the snap, looking to throw. Looks to go deep down the sidelines, and it is overthrown. Intended for his receiver. That was Philip Payne. Payne's been one of his favorite targets today, just overthrown on that one.
Yeah, clearly he was trying to fit it in there, but the thing I like that he did is he put it in a spot where if his man couldn't make it, nobody was going to have a chance to intercept it. And that's an important lesson for a quarterback to learn. You don't always have to be perfectly accurate. You want to put it where a mistake can't hurt you. So he missed the pass, but no defender had a chance to get their hands on it.
And there is a good look at it right here. Almost hit our cameraman, it looks like. And he's going to have to duck out of the way. There is some dirty laundry on the field, a flag, and they are saying that it should be on the north side. The South players
personal
are
foul,
indicating they're
number 90.
No, it is on the
half
south.
the distance to the goal.
A
First
personal
down.
foul on number 90 on the South squad. That's going to go against Damon Harrison out of William Penn.
Yeah, and Damon's a guy earlier in the game, he made a big play, but throughout the week he was very up and down. He seems like he plays well when he's rested, but he tires very quickly, which is unfortunate. He's sort of a short, stocky guy when you look at him, 6'2", but 347 pounds. So he's definitely the nose tackle type, and he's going to have to improve his endurance if he's going to be productive at the next level.
That play is not going to make Coach Kurt Schottenheimer happy on a 3rd and 2 play that was overthrown. All of a sudden, the North has new life, sitting just on the 11-yard line, 1st and 10 now with a 5-point lead. Still time left in the game, but you have to imagine time keeps winding down, and with quarterback play that keeps inconsistently happening on the south side, you wonder how much more they can actually stand this as Michael Smith takes the snap, or takes the handoff, and he's going to be bottled up right there at the line of scrimmage.
There's no question. I think when you look at it, here's the North. All they got to do is kick a field goal. They make it an 8-point game, and then you got to look at the South and say, are you going to be able to drive down and get a 2-point conversion with all the inconsistency you've had in terms
recently
of scoring today?
Yeah. The South seems to just be knocking on the doorstep every time, but once they hit the red zone, it's over. Almost everything goes off because they get there very quickly.
Yep. It's sort of got to be a frustrating thing for the coaches if they're able to move the ball, but they can't finish the drives.
North's going to line up with 2 wide, 2 in the backfield. Tanny's going to be under center. And Tanny's going to hand the ball off to Michael Smith again, who's just going to try to drive the pile forward. Not a big gain, maybe 1 yard on the play to back to the line of scrimmage. And they just want that clock to run, it looks like.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, that's their goal right here. But you have to be impressed. Smith on this play, he did a really nice job. He's not a huge kid, but he got his head down, got his shoulders down, and he really drove in there, even though he knew he couldn't get a lot of yards. Get positive yards. Don't get knocked backward. Don't dance around in the backfield. He did a good job of just being aggressive and hitting the defender and gaining some yards.
Michael Smith out of Utah State, not even a starter at Utah State, able to get an invite to an all-star game like this, trying to improve his stock and get a chance at the next level. As the North squad is looking at 3rd and 9, up 5, Tanny's going to be in the shotgun. He's going to take the snap. The snaps are getting back rather slow, it seems like, at least by the quarterbacks. And he's going to throw an incomplete pass to likely end that drive, maybe with a field goal crew coming out now, and it appears they will.
And it actually looked, I wonder if Tanny there, it looked like he was just saying, you know what, I'm not going to be able to complete a pass. I don't want to get sacked. We have a chance to get a field goal for an 8-point lead. I'm going to throw it away. And that's something you like to see from a young kid from a small school, to have his head on him and say, hey, let's just throw it away, live to play another down. It's one of the hardest lessons to teach a quarterback.
On these snaps, are you seeing the quarterbacks kind of react like they should get back there a little quicker than they are?
Yep.
That can happen, though, with different quarterback and center exchanges going on throughout the week, different combinations.
And also, you know that these centers, a lot of them, they're not that comfortable with these shotgun snaps with the quarterbacks, so they're tending to take a little pace off the snap.
All right, David Teggart misses the field goal, though, so now it's 24-19, still 7 minutes remaining. The South is getting the ball back. We're back at War Memorial Stadium for the Players All-Star Classic here on CSS. The North squad leading 24-19 over the South. Back into the game, Jordan Jefferson, LSU quarterback there, started for 3 years and 1 game, technically.
Yeah,
Consider his first start was here at War Memorial Stadium. It was the last game of the season for LSU that year against Arkansas. Jefferson started the game. We have not seen him since about the first two drives.
Yeah. And you know what? It's good to see him because this is a great opportunity to see a quarterback come in. He's cold. How can he do? This is like equivalent to an NFL quarterback where the team has a 17-play drive against him. How does he do when he's been sitting for 20 minutes, come back in the game, and sort of have to play well in a key situation? It's a great opportunity for him to prove himself.
Jefferson has used his legs effectively today, and that is the same story on this run, which sends him all the way out to the 45-yard line. A big pickup for LSU's Jordan Jefferson and the South squad, as they're looking to get back into this game. Only down 5. They're trying to maybe have a chance to take a lead on this drive. And you can watch him here. That was designed run all the way.
Question.
And that's what they've done several times with him today, letting him use his legs.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's a big kid. He's very athletic. A lot of the defenders don't play together, so they're not used to knowing, hey, when this happens, we do this and this. So they're just counting on the fact that his athletic ability can defeat everything.
All right. And speaking of quarterbacks, a quarterback for the North squad that is intrigued a lot of people this week is Alex Tanney. Our Jay Burr is on the sideline with Tanney now. Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys. Yeah, definitely an intriguing story here. Joining with us from Monmouth, Alex Tanney. I guess, Alex, what's it been like for you this week? Obviously, you come from a Division III school. You're playing with some of these guys from the SEC, Pac-12. Just what's the week been like?
Yeah, it's been a great experience so far. Like you said, coming from a smaller school and watching these guys on TV, and there's always been thoughts of if I would have walked on at a bigger school, to be playing with these guys. So yeah, it's just been a great experience so far.
Now, obviously, you come from one of these super spread type offenses. You're having to kind of go under center now. What's been the adjustment been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a bigger adjustment being all under center this week. It's something I've kind of focused on in the off season. I think I've improved that. So hopefully that'll help me out in the long run.
Now, what have you been hearing from scouts about your stock?
Good things this week. I had a good week of practice. Had quite a few teams talk to me. So hopefully, they see I can play against this bigger competition. It helps me out.
Now, I mean, what's it like coming, like you said, coming from the small D3 type school, and you're playing against these guys, and you're actually doing quite well to show that, hey, we might be little, but we're playing big.
Yeah, I think that's just a tribute to the program I came from. We have a great program there at Monmouth, and, we don't shy away from competition. I've been a competitor my whole life, so I love opportunities like this.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us there. Alex Tanney, quarterback from Monmouth. Guys, let's back to you.
All right, thanks, Jay. Alex's father and brother both played at Monmouth. His father played basketball. Brother played quarterback from 02 to 05, so he followed the family and went to their alma mater. And you can see Jordan Jefferson's making a few plays on this drive that's got to impress some scouts with his arm. We've seen his legs, but his arm has been showcased here in the last couple plays.
And I think what you're seeing is different things. One of them was a touch screen pass. Another one he had to move a little bit, make a throw. Here he just dumps it off to the running back. You want to see a quarterback who's comfortable, who doesn't rush things, who's just a good, competent guy in the backfield. That's what he needs to prove. No one expects him to be great right now. They just want to see that he can do it a little bit, and that gives him the hope that he can develop.
Adrian Moore on that reception out of UAPB. Jefferson now faced with 3rd and 5. 5 minutes remaining. They're on the 31-yard line. Jefferson's going to take the snap, look for a short throw, and it is underthrown to the back end of Philip Supernaw out of Ouachita Baptist. That's a throw he'd like to have back.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, he's sitting there. He's under a little bit of pressure. I think that's the problem. He was in the pocket, and he just didn't get comfortable. Zach Nash comes flying in, and I think he forced him to make an early throw, and it led to an incompletion.
It's going to bring up 4th and 5 now. Jefferson in the offense stays on the field. They're going to be going for it with just under 5 minutes left here in this Players All-Star Classic. Down 5 in the 4th quarter. And Jefferson's looking at a situation that he would like to be able to prove that in the clutch moments like this, he can deliver.
That's the key. That's what he has to do, because he didn't do it against Alabama in the national title game.
Jefferson's under pressure here. He's going to avoid it. Steps back, has to make an off-balance throw. No, he is going to be taken down for a huge sack, something you don't like to see.
Brett Roy.
Roy.
Yep, that's a big play. It's, I think, his 2nd sack of the game, his 3rd big play. Very athletic kid coming off the edge. And what he did here, it's not so much the athletic ability, it's the relentlessness. He kept after it. Jefferson got out of the pocket. He hustled. He stayed under control. And he made a good tackle of a guy who's a very good athlete. And that's wildly important. Although I must say, it's pretty impressive, Jefferson's hand strength there, that he didn't fumble the ball while he had it just away from his body with one hand while he was getting sacked.
He was holding it awful low there. Most of the time you would think a fumble would ensue, but no, they were able to hang on to it. But it is a huge loss in the play. Brings it all the way out to the 46-yard line for the North squad. With 4 minutes and 44 seconds remaining, up 5, you got to think they're going to try to run out the clock, and they're handing off to Michael Smith to do just that. And he's going to bring it up for a 9-yard gain all the way into the South Territory. Looks like they're going to be on the 46-yard line.
Yeah, and I tell you what, they're doing the smart thing. Smith's been good today. He's made good runs, short runs, long runs. Just keep giving him the ball.
How much does a backup running back like Michael Smith out of Utah improve his stock with just runs like that? Maybe not the – well, he did have the long breaking run, which is nice to see, the breakaway speed. But with the short, consistent 9-yard carries, that's more likely what you see.
And it's so important because the question you have of a kid like him, he had the stats as a backup that you say, wow, he's an explosive kid. But can he be can he be that tough inside runner that can handle the pounding, that isn't going to just go down easily? And that's what impresses you about this kid. He's handled it so far this game.
You can see Smith again on another big carry, well over the 100-yard mark for that young man today as he brings it down to the 31-yard line with 3 minutes and 46 seconds. The clock is going to be stopped for a timeout by the South squad. They will have 2 remaining. Now 1 remaining. As we look at this replay here, watch the cutback on Smith as he's able to cut outside. Boom. Just unable to break away. That could have been another touchdown.
Yeah, it could have been a really big play. That was the last defender left. If he had been able to make a miss, he had it. And I'll tell you what, 85 there did a really good job. Garrett Selleck of making the seal block to get the hole open. It was an outstanding job by a lesser-known tight end, but a guy who's had a good solid day, catching 2 or 3 balls and also doing a good job of making edge blocks versus the run.
Someone you definitely want to look at on DraftNasty.com, which is bringing you today's game. DraftNasty.com, your #1 authority for year-round draft coverage. We are the fun. DraftNasty.com. And Michael Smith, you might get a good update for him on DraftNasty after a game like this.
No question. I'm sure Corey's going to say he was one of the stars of the week and finished up with a good, strong week and helped his draft stock. No question.
We continue the action now at 1st and 10 after that big run by Smith. And it looks like Matt Blanchard is entering the game. Wisconsin Whitewater. He's going to hand off to Smith, and Smith is going to barrel his way forward. Another positive gain. Mid-gain, about 4 to 5 yards as the clock continues to wind down.
And I got to tell you, to me, it's a little bit odd to bring Blanchard in. He's the one that's had the problems with the center exchange. If you're trying to just run the clock out, why would you take the risk?
They're trying to make things interesting for us.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think that's what it is. Blanchard has fumbled about 3 times today, all on the same drive. Was able to recover and throw that touchdown pass, which helped his squad get onto the board. But we haven't seen him since then.
No, exactly. And I think that it's sort of an odd thing for a guy who's been struggling with the fumbles. He's been sitting on the sideline now for over a quarter. Now you plug him back in with a few minutes left when you're trying to run it down. To me, it's just a little bit nerve-wracking, I would be, if worried about the fumbles coming up real quick.
Certainly a gutsy call by Martin Bayless, but he did play 13 years in the NFL. He is a player's guy, and he wants to give these guys an opportunity to go out there and showcase their skills as the NFL draft scouts. Take a look at them this past week. I know a lot of guys in practice this week have really helped their stock. Who are some of the guys in practice alone that scouts walked away being impressed with?
Well, I think there were a number of guys. I think when you look at all the players here, I think the Brandon Joyner, who's had a good game this week, he really showed excellent pass rush ability throughout the whole week. I think Mark Asper, a guy who played center this week, even though he was a guard and tackle at Oregon, had a very strong week, showed that he's a legitimate guy that can be maybe not a starter, but a good backup in the NFL. And there it is.
There it is. We were just talking about the decision to put Blanchard back in the game with this much time left, because he had fumble problems earlier, and sure enough, he fumbled the ball. It is recovered by number 93 for the defense. That is Ishmaeli Kitchen.
Yep, it just, that's what just didn't make sense to me. Every time he was in before, the snaps just didn't seem clean. And what happens here? You're trying to kill the clock, and you fumble it away. And if the South goes down and wins, you have to look at that play, and really, you have to put a little bit of blame on the coach.
And look who's coming in at quarterback now, Nathan Dick.
Nathan
from
Dick,
UCA.
there you go.
So they're really rotating the quarterbacks well here in the latter part of the game. Only 3 minutes left. Don't expect them to make another quarterback change mid-drive. So Nathan Dick looking to lead the team down to potentially take the lead. And unfortunately, it looks like the South is going to be marked by a false start penalty.
70. Offense.
On about 3
5-yard
people.
penalty.
That's what's remarkable.
First
There were
down.
3 guys moving.
They're going to say it was number 70 on the team, which is Larry Reed out of West Liberty, but I don't think he was the only one. I saw quite a few players move that would be considered a team false start.
That one looks like a classic we forgot the snap count.
I believe so. Let's see what they can do now on 1st and 15. Nathan Dick's in the gun. He's going to take the snap. Has time to throw, and he's going to, find his man, but it is dropped.
By Terrence Wilkerson.
Terrence
Wow.
Wilkerson.
Who had a very impressive week of practice, showed great hands all week, and then what does he do? He just drops one right there when he has to make the catch.
Looked like a good throw, just right through his hands, and that's one he's going to wish he could have back because it could have been close to a first down.
Yep, it would have put them in a position to get a first down, and also would have put him in a position to show that he can make catches in key spots, which is key for the NFL scouts. They want to see you make plays when the game is on the line.
Coming from a school like SMU, likes to spread things out under June Jones's offense. You'd think he'd be more apt to catching that, but we'll see if he can make up for it here as Dick's going to throw down the field. It's an out route, and it is going to be just not fumbled, but juggled and dropped. South wants a penalty on the play. They're not going to get it.
No, unfortunately, this ball arrived pretty much right when the defender did. So there was not a lot Bostic could do about catching the ball. It was hit him right as the defender hit him in the numbers. And that's Woodley, or Woolfolk from Michigan. Yep.
A guy who, reading some of the practice reports from scouts this week, didn't have the greatest week in practice, but certainly when you're able to close in with that kind of speed and make a receiver juggle the ball in a pivotal 2nd and 15 late in the game, that's going to make him happy.
Oh, yeah, no question. He did have a tough week, but he's played pretty well tonight when he's had the ball thrown his way.
All right, Nathan Dick facing a 3rd and 15 now in his own territory. He's going to scramble outside. He's throwing it deep down the field. Receiver didn't know, though, and it's going to be intercepted. The North comes away with a key interception, and it's Chad Fulkin, number 37, who could have had one earlier in this game, had 2 batted down balls on an important drive for the South. Nathan Dick and his receiver didn't seem to be quite on the same page.
Yep, and it almost seemed like he was forcing it. He was like, you know what, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to throw this ball up there and hope my guy can get it. And Falcone has shown today that his instincts are outstanding. He can get to the sideline. He reads the quarterback well. He's really done a very good job of helping his draft stock today.
Like we mentioned, he could have had an interception earlier in that game. He did make up for it in a pivotal moment late in the game with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left.
There's Blanchard again under center. I just don't get that. Oh, wow, look at that.
That is Joe Martinek out of Rutgers, and he's going to be gobbled up in the backfield. Loss of 3 on the play. That is an interesting move, putting Blanchard back in the game.
I wonder if it's Martin just saying, you know what, I'm a former player. I know when I screwed up, I wanted my coaches to have confidence in me, so I'm going to throw the kid back out there. But sometimes I wonder, you're talking, that's 4 fumbled exchanges today. Do you really want to put him out there? Because if he fumbles another one, what's he going to think about? This could be one of those things that constantly hampers him.
We mentioned 4 fumbles on the snap. He's fortunate to only lose one of those.
Exactly.
Because the other 3, they were able to recover, and then he led them on a touchdown drive. As he takes the snap, he's able to handle it. The South selling out on the run right now, and they're making plays in the backfield as Martinek goes down again.
Yep, and this is one of those things where they're just going to try to run out the clock. So the South is just saying, you know what, we're going to send everybody forward. And if you decide you want to throw the ball, then good luck. You'll probably beat us for a touchdown. But we're not going to take a chance on you breaking a big run and getting a first down.
Danny Trevathan on the tackle there out of Kentucky has 1 interception today. Could have had another one.
Yep, he's had a good game. He's been around the ball. He's made some tackles. I think he's helped himself in terms of showing that he's a better athlete than he gets credit for.
And for the second time ever in these players' career, they're experiencing an extra timeout. They call it the 2-minute warning in the NFL. We'll be back in just a moment for the conclusion of the Players All-Star Classic here at War Memorial Stadium on CSS. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. It is brought to you by DraftNasty.com, your #1 authority for year-round draft coverage. And after this game, be sure to go to DraftNasty.com to see all the updates and the stock watch on all the players that played here tonight in the Players All-Star Classic, the inaugural game at War Memorial Stadium. Certainly some changes will be made on several profiles. Some big games we've had here today. Chris Kane alongside my partner Russ Landy. As time continues to wind down, it looks like the South will get the ball back down 24-19. That was 3rd and 16. A big loss for the North team will force them to punt now. And that clock, though, continues to wind. They will probably get it back without a minute left. We'll see what type of field position they can get here.
Well, this is where you're relying on your punter, and I'll tell you what, the North is in a good situation. They just have to avoid allowing the big play, and they'll end up winning this game.
The punter for the North, as we mentioned earlier, is Kyle Martins out of Rice, a record-setting punter out of Rice. Set all their records, you were telling me, for average and net yardage.
It's remarkable. Yeah, he's really a 4-year starting punter, 43-yard average for his career, and consistently showed the ability to make all the punts. He could drive it deep. He can make the drop punt, the pooch punts. I mean, he's really he can do everything you want for a punter. That's why I think he's going to be a guy that gets a chance, and I wouldn't be surprised a year or two from now if he's a starting punter in the NFL.
Now, they're going to give them 5 extra yards. The North decided to take a delay of game penalty as the clock winded down to 1:11. Jericho Nelson moved up from the 25 to about the 30-yard line. Could that really be, with one timeout left, was that a smart decision, or would you have called a timeout with one left?
I would have probably just snapped it at 1 second. Why waste the timeout? Why not just snap the ball and get it off? But I think they were trying to get every last second, so they figured they'd rather give up a few yards and take time off the clock.
This is an all-star game, but it is ultra-competitive among many of these players. Nelson's going to take the punt, and he's going to get some yards out of it.
Oh, and it looked like he, for a second there, was going to get the corner, but Coleman from UCLA was able to get outside and wrap him up. Otherwise, he might have had a little bit of room to run to make a 15, 20-yard play.
Derek Coleman, a running back out of UCLA, projects well as a special teams player at the next level, showing you why right there.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to have to do. I mean, the one thing people don't realize about NFL prospects is unless they start the NFL, if they don't play well on special teams, they're not going to last because you have to perform on special teams to be a backup in the NFL.
The South is going to get the ball back. They put Nathan Dick back in the game, the quarterback from UCA, with 1 minute left, no timeouts, down 5. We'll see if they can put together a game-winning touchdown drive. Field goal won't do it. Dick's in the shotgun. He's going to take the snap. He's going to throw to the sideline, finds his wideout out of bounds, which is very important. Rashard Carter finds his way to about the 35-yard line and stops the clock. Only 5 seconds, really 4.4 taken off the clock.
Not a bad way to gain some yards, and it was a good job by the receiver to work his way out of bounds because the defender was trying to tackle him before he could get to the sideline.
Nathan Dick has been pretty accurate with those sideline throws today, showing good velocity. He's going to need to do that on this drive with no timeouts left to save the time and see what yardage they can get out of it. Dick's going to take the snap, looking at the same area, and he's going to throw way off the mark. Looks like some miscommunication between him and his wideout. Going back to number 81, Carter, but Carter was in the wrong place.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's sort of one of the things you get at these all-star games. The quarterbacks might, during the week, get 20 reps with each receiver. So the timing is never going to develop to where it's like they're playing at their normal school where they throw the ball 100 times each practice to their receiver. So you're going to have plays like that throughout these all-star games.
Especially under a new playbook, new coaches. It's certainly an adjustment to make. And that's why you don't see them making signals to call plays. They're going to tell you, here's what we're going to run. We're not going to make it complicated. The coaches' goals this week are to make these kids succeed on both sides of the ball. And Nathan Dick is going to be just wrapped up and taken down hard. That's Jamie Blacknick from Oklahoma State. The Big 12, they say they're not known for defense, but Jamie Blacknick says think otherwise.
Yeah, and he's had a really good week this week. He was viewed as an undersized player, but he weighed in at 270 pounds. He's been excellent all week rushing the passer, shows great competitiveness, and much better athleticism that people gave him credit for. So he's really helped his draft stock this week.
Nathan Dick is going deep on this one. He has a man and is just out of the reach of his target receiver. That was number 80, Tony Clemens. And that is one that could have been a huge play. Nathan Dick able to step up in the pocket. Now 24 seconds remaining. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout on the field. The North is going to take a timeout. And we are going to try and see here. The North offense takes over. Just like that. 4th down. We're going to head down to the sidelines now and join Jay Burr 4th down, Jay. That was a tough call, but it was certainly well worth it, only down 5.
Yeah, that's right, and these guys are gamers. They're trying to go for the win, though. A part of the winning team, though, Derek Coleman out of UCLA. Derek, it's got to be a big week for you. What are you taking away from the experience this week?
You know, we only had a week to come together. Everybody we never played with none of each other before. We had a week to come together. The team that came together the fastest in 48 hours is going to win. And that's what we did. We came out there, became brothers, you know, and we came out there, executed everything we did. We didn't worry about the other team. When they scored, we didn't worry about it, and we just came out there, executed what we did, and won.
Now, for somebody like you, born deaf, or was deaf at some point, and now you're out here, you're doing your thing, you've got to be a big inspiration. What do you try to tell kids who are kind of going through what you went through?
You know, I always tell them, though, don't let nobody tell you can't do something. Because, you know, as you see out here, made a couple tackles, I came out there, you just work harder than everybody else, and you're just going to see. If you want to be the first president, you'll be the first president. But that goes for anybody, you know. You got to go out there and work hard. And because everybody got problems, nobody has to worry about chores. So you got to go out there, overcome your barriers, and go out there and work hard.
All right, appreciate taking a little time for Derek.
No problem.
Go join your team there. Right. Derek Cohen from UCLA, the North, the winner of the inaugural Players Classic here in Little Rock, 24-19. The final, guys, up to you.
All right, thank you, Jay. A big win for the North squad and a big game for Michael Smith from the North squad. He is our MVP of the inaugural Players All-Star Classic. And when you look at his stats, well over 100 yards and a touchdown. Russ, you're looking at a guy who was a backup running back at Utah State, not a school that a lot of people have heard of, and he comes out and is a game MVP today.
Yeah, no, he was remarkable. I think for a kid that came in here, had a great week of practice, he really showed today he not only has the speed to make big plays, but he showed toughness running between the tackles, ran the ball hard, was able to run through some contact, gain the tough yards. I think he really helped his draft stock and had a great game.
All right, offensive player of the game is Philip Payne at UNLV. He had 5 receptions, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Defensive player of the game, Brandon Joyner, Arkansas State. We saw him early on with 2 big sacks in the first half. Special teams player of the game, no surprise here, Long Ding out of Norwich, the kicker. 3 for 4 on his field goal kicking. It's been quite a game here at War Memorial Stadium for the inaugural Players All-Star Classic. The North goes on to win it 24-19. Thank you for joining us for the broadcast today here on CSS. For my partner, Russ Landy, I'm Chris Kane. Hope you all have a great weekend.